Good afternoon. I would like to invite everyone back to International Peace Conference for October 2024. Now, I would like to invite the artworks of His Majesty the King Rama X by Venerable.
ขอต้อนรับอาจารย์อำนาจกลั่นประชาครับ
21 years ago, a man was invited to appear on Thailand's most popular variety show. As an artist who could create art of peace from weapons of destruction, symbolizing inner peace. His dream was to find inner peace and bring it to the world. In 2001, he was invited as a special lecturer at Mahidol University. Here, he demonstrated the power of compassion and the healing art of the mind, especially in teaching art to deaf children. His work not only helped develop the children's artistic skills but also enhanced their self-confidence and self-esteem. He showed that art can be a universal language that connects people together, regardless of any limitations. In 2002, he had the opportunity to participate in a United Nations conference. This experience gave him a broader perspective on the problems and needs of people worldwide. He exchanged ideas about creating inner peace through the arts and realized that this concept could be applied at an international level. This experience inspired him to further develop and spread his approach to creating inner peace more extensively. In 2004, when he established Wat Pa Sorn Kaew in Phetchabun province. This temple is not merely a place for spiritual practice but also a masterpiece that harmoniously blends the beauty of nature, architecture, and spirituality. Beyond its architectural beauty, this temple serves as a center for learning and spiritual practice. Regular religious activities and meditation sessions are conducted here, making it a spiritual haven for those seeking inner peace development. In 2013, a significant milestone occurred when he established Wat Yenisangwaram Verona in Italy. This temple is not only a place for spiritual practice but also marks the beginning of the Land for Peace concept. The Land for Peace concept aims to create spaces worldwide where people can access inner peace, especially focusing on intellectual development for children, the underprivileged, and everyone seeking peace. The establishment of this temple abroad reflects his vision of spreading the concept of inner peace internationally under the Eurasia World Peace Project. In 2015, another significant development occurred when he established the Paticha Samuppada Foundation in Phichit province, laying the groundwork for the Land for Peace concept in Thailand. The Paticha Samuppada Foundation is situated on 24 acres of land with the purpose of creating Thailand's first land for peace. This area is designed to be more than just a typical meditation center. It's a hub for sustainable development and peace building. The grounds feature various gardens with food plants and herbs, disaster-resistant buildings, and a training center offering diverse programs ranging from special needs childcare to meditation practices. All of this reflects his vision of creating a space that promotes both physical security and spiritual development as a foundation for lasting peace. The establishment of this foundation demonstrates his vision of creating a concrete land for peace in Thailand, seamlessly integrating concepts of mental development, coexistence with nature, and social service. In 2016, he expanded his vision of promoting inner peace to Europe by establishing the Baum Vimudi Foundation in Bad Schwesen, Germany. The Baum Vimudi Meditation Foundation is dedicated to spiritual development, providing opportunities for those ready to devote themselves to a deep exploration of inner peace. Beyond being a space for intensive meditation and mental development, this center aims to build key forces in spreading the concept of peace throughout society. The center therefore serves not only as a place for spiritual practice but also as an incubator for new spiritual leaders who will help drive society toward peace and tranquility. In 2018, he established a meditation center in Delegation, Germany, utilizing an 800-year-old castle as its location. The transformation of this ancient castle into a modern learning and meditation center reflects a perfect harmony between past and present. This center is open to interested individuals of all nationalities and languages to pursue inner peace in an atmosphere rich with history and tranquility. The center serves not only as a retreat for mental development but also stands as a symbol of cultural and spiritual connection transcending time, reflecting a vision of creating a society that understands the value of peace without any limitations. In 2019, he designed and constructed the World Peace Buddhist Pagoda and Reliquary Tower in Phetchabun Province. This beautiful structure is not merely a sacred site but also stands as a symbol of dedication to world peace, serving as a destination for pilgrims and those seeking inner peace. Throughout his journey of promoting inner peace, he has authored numerous books that share profound insights and practical guidance on achieving inner tranquility. His written works explore various aspects of meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual development, making these transformative teachings accessible to readers worldwide. His dedication to spreading the message of inner peace extends beyond his writings. Over the years, he has conducted more than 1,000 inner peace courses, reaching countless individuals both in Thailand and internationally. These courses have provided participants with practical tools and techniques for cultivating inner peace, combining traditional wisdom with contemporary applications. Through these intensive programs, he has guided people from diverse backgrounds and cultures on their path to finding lasting peace within themselves. In 2024, he was honored as an Ambassador of Peace at the World Peace Conference in Stockholm, Sweden. This position recognizes his continuous work in promoting peace, following his previous Peace Award received at the same venue in 2022. Receiving both the award and the position of Peace Ambassador reflects the value of his concept of inner peace cultivation that he has been spreading throughout his journey, and highlights the importance of human mental development in creating world peace. Recently, he organized an art exhibition at Delegation Castle in Germany, showcasing works by Thai and local artists, using the castle and art as mediums to promote peace. This exhibition reflects his philosophy that each activity represents small steps toward a land of peace. As a teacher, he focuses on providing opportunities for people to develop themselves, not only for personal benefit but also for the benefit of others. His Land for Peace concept aims to support new generations to become future peace networks, with the hope of developing truly war-free zones under United Nations protection. This exhibition and concept demonstrate his vision of using art and education as tools to promote understanding, self-development, and sustainable peace across cultures.
I would like to invite พระครูใบดีกาอำนาจโอภาโสกลั่นประชา the President of Temple for Nirvana and Peace Center from Germany.
Thank you for your love and kindness. I am truly grateful to each of you for being a gift to this world. Kindness helps us organize our lives and guide us through difficult times, so we can remain focused on kindness, peace. When I was a child, I used to pray to be close to God. And once I found peace in my heart, I met him in the deepest chamber of my inner being. For over 700 years, every Thai king has supported religion, that's kindness, peace. This has turned every moment into a celebration of life, where we dance and grow together as part of humanity. Each of us play unique roles, like diverse flowers in a garden, yet we connected by the same four elements and a naturally peaceful heart. I want to convey this understanding through painting titled Kindness, Peace. They were exhibited at the Spiritual World Peace event at the UN in Geneva, Switzerland in 2002. We are drink from the same waters, the land that is produced from our tears, sweat, and blood. The fact is, the sweat of puppets from all religions has once been part of those rain clouds too. But with religion, do those clouds follow? When tree roots absorb rainwater to nourish plants, it becomes the mother muse. Drinking this milk is like sharing the same mother. We all breathe the same air, the air that Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, and all prophets have breathed without distinction. In this way, peace becomes the universal religion of the world. Our children walk on the same earth, layered with the remains of ancestors and the bodies of prophets. They were transformed into our families today. We all live in the warmth and sweetness of the same sunlight, illuminating wisdom in our hearts. Now, please observe the feeling of your feet touching the ground. There's no grease, anger, or direction in that moment. We can call this the body consciousness element. It does not identify as France, Russian, Ukrainian, American, or Chinese, Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist. Jesus and Buddha also lived through this body consciousness, with it an element of peace without division in the past, present, and future. This peace has never left nor returned. It always exists in every touch of life. Buddha said, peace into three levels. First, conventional peace. It suspends differences in notion and beliefs, whether Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, American, Russian, Ukrainian, Israeli, or Iranians. Second, temporary peace, when we mindful and focus, like feeling our feet on the ground. It's a moment without greed, anger, or delusion. No war in our hearts during such mindfulness. And third, permanent peace, achievable if we train our mindfulness and concentration to remain stable, free from greed, anger, and delusion. Then we experience lasting peace. I am organizing a peace media creation contest, encouraging everyone to express their talents in art, music, metaverse, AI creation, film articles, theater, sculpture, and other creative media. I like to invite all countries to hold peace media creation contests to find the peace angel, then taking turns hosting in each country to showcase work of global peace angels. In Thailand, I am establishing a 24-acre peace center, and I'd like to ask you to consider creating a land for peace in your country too, as a gathering place for peace seekers. We are not alone in this world. There are others who stand for peace like us. When we unite with hearts of inner peace, our collective strength can negotiate against the use of weapons. We choose to live on this earth with everyone, with hearts that seek peace. We may request the UN to designate land for peace in each country, area free from war and bombing, where future generations can grow up in peace. My three work principles are Nothing is impossible. If it is to be possible, how can it be done? If it is possible, what benefit and happiness will it bring? Finally, I invite everyone to experience peace for 1 minute. Please observe the feeling of your feet touching the ground right now. In this present moment, in that feeling, there is no greed, anger, or delusions. There are no definition to such feeling. Whether you feel standing in France, Russia, America, China, or Thailand, what you're experiencing now is proof the peace never departs, no returns. It is eternal and present in everyone at all times, present, past, and future. I invite all of us who share peace in our hearts to work together in the spirit of peace, forming a network as if we have the same kindness, peace. This way, we can pass on this knowledge to our children, allowing them to find inner peace within the flow of humanity for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you พระครูใบดีกาอำนาจโอภาโสกลั่นประชา for your great speech of the artworks of His Majesty the King Rama X by Venerable.
And now is the time for the presentations of 10 youth representatives on World Patron and Peace. For our first speech, I would like to welcome Mr. Buntan Giat Tawi Santikun for his speech.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is an incredible honor to be here today. My name is Buntan Giat Tawi Santikun, or you can call me Q. I'm in year 13 and the school captain of King's College International School, Bangkok. Thank you for allowing me to represent Thailand and share my thoughts on peace. Imagine waking up to the sound of temple bells, a melody that has resonated for centuries. In Thailand, this sound is more than a daily ritual. It's a symbol of peace, a peace built on respect for religion, culture, and mutual understanding, guided by His Majesty the King. In a world plagued by divisions, religion often becomes a battlefield. But in Thailand, it's a bridge. Through royal projects like the Sufficiency Economy philosophy, championed by His Majesty King Rama X, communities across Thailand are empowered. This philosophy has reduced poverty and fostered unity among the country. Over half of Thailand's population participates in religious or cultural activities. Through the efforts of His Majesty the King and numerous royal projects, religion in Thailand isn't just preserved, it flourishes as a tool for peace building and not conflict. Yet this peace is not uniquely Thai. It echoes globally. When I think of France, I hear another rhythm, the sacred hymns of Notre Dame, a beacon of faith which stood tall through trials. It is incredible. Two countries, different in many ways, yet share the power to build peace. Nevertheless, in today's volatile world, how can we harness shared values to inspire global peace and stability? As a Buddhist, I was once a novice monk at 6 years old, learning about patience and giving. I remember waking up at dawn, meditated in silence, and prayed, which I still continue to do now. This made me realize that inner peace is the foundation of greater outer peace. I recall visiting a rural community in Thailand. It is a simple place. Early in the morning, villagers gathered not just to pray, but to access education, healthcare, and community discussions. This small village shows that peace, once built, must be maintained. However, I recognize that conflict, in some form, touches every corner of our world. Recent events remind us that peace is fragile. We're all connected, and the instability in one part of the world ripples through us all. Global headlines are filled with protests and conflicts, and in these moments, countries can learn from each other, support each other, for peace is the most crucial in this time. Religion and culture can bridge divides, but only if we invest in them and nurture them. But here's the thing, no nation can do this alone. It's like trying to clap with one hand. Peace is also not just for adults or politicians, it's for all of us. We must come together to support peace building, not only in crisis, but in times of stability as well. There are countless ways to spread peace, but for me, kindness is one of the most simplest and most powerful. Smiling to someone, volunteering, or offering help, these small acts can plant seeds of peace that can grow. And the best part, anyone can be kind, no matter who you are. Fortunately, we're not starting from scratch. UNESCO unites us in promoting peace. We cannot wait until peace is disrupted. As Her Excellency Audrey Azoulay, Director General of UNESCO, said, "Culture is what unites us in our diversity." So, what role will you play? A passive observer or an active builder of peace? Peace is a shared responsibility because at the heart of it all, peace is not something we wish for, it is something we create. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buntankiet. Next, I would like to welcome Ms. Malinlada Tanchacha for her speech.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marinlada Tanchacha. You can also call me Eclair. I'm from Ascot International School, Bangkok. I believe that everyone has a dream. It could be a long-lost dream from when you were a child, or the one you discovered later on. Now, if you may, just take a moment to think of that dream. To achieve that dream, you might need support from your friends, family, and the people who would love to help you. But the most important person you should rely on the most is yourself. You, who are with great perseverance and determination. You are the most reliable source for your own strength. There is one great person, His late Majesty, King Rama IX, who had great perseverance and determination to bring about the well-being of his people, as when he became king, declared that we shall reign with righteousness for the benefit and happiness of the Siamese people. 70 years of his reign demonstrate that he had worked tirelessly to realize his benevolent resolution with more than 4,000 projects. He has footprints everywhere in Thailand. His visions for the country's development embraces the human-centered approach in harmony with the surrounding ecosystems. One of his many projects was the Royal Rainmaking Project that helps alleviate drought problems for farmers when dry season arrive. His Glangdin initiative works on improving drought problems for farmers when dry season arrive. His Aokrungaben project helped improve not only the ecosystem, but also the livelihoods of people in the area. At the heart, his guiding sufficiency economy principles lay a balanced pathway of a living of prosperous moderacy. Being a patron of Buddhism as well as other religions in the kingdom, the late king not only devoted himself to foster the people's faith, but also promoted acceptance and tolerance towards other religious communities. When he was presented by the Council of Saudi Arabia with a copy of the English edition of the Quran, His late Majesty, after studying the text, proceeded to ask Thailand's Islamic spiritual leader, the Sheikhul Islam, or Dula Rashmantri, to prepare a direct Thai translation of the original Arabic versions. Then, copies were then distributed towards in the kingdom. Everyone was able to read and learn more about Islam. As we can see, the late King Bhumipon's work involves not only the development of environment and economy, but also the promotion of interfaith understanding in the kingdom. The promotion of his legacy genuinely shows his devotion for Thai people. Moreover, the outcome reaches out to neighboring and partnered countries as well as human society at large. I would like to share with you a verse of a song that captures the Thai people's love for him. May our voices reach him through the sky. He's in our hearts as certain as the tides. This song, King and Fairy Tales, reflects Thai people's long-lasting love for the late king and appreciation for everything he had done for Thailand. But the work hasn't finished, said His late Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej the Great. His Majesty King Mahawashiralongkorn Washiraklao จ้าอยู่หัว carries on with the projects, as stated in his first royal command, and also continues to support Buddhism as well as diversity of religions in the kingdom. His Majesty has shown a deep interest in Buddhism from a very young age, believing that basic tenets of Buddhism will lead people to true happiness. In 1978, as then crowned prince, His Majesty was ordained as a monk and studied deeper about Buddhism. Since the beginning of his reign, His Majesty has played a very important role in the protection and promotion of Buddhism. He has done his duty in appointing the 20th Supreme Patriarch, His Holiness Somdet Phra Ariya Wongsa Khattayan, who has contributed greatly to the education of Buddhist monks and novices in Thailand, as well as the dissemination of Buddhism overseas. His Majesty also continues to preside over religious ceremonies on important days, such as Makha Busha Day, Visakha Busha Day, Asaraha Busha Day, the Buddhist Lent Day, and the Katina ceremony, continuing the tradition of Thai king's role as patron of all faiths. His Majesty has extended support to other religious communities, like Islam and Christians. For instance, their Majesties warmly welcomed His Holiness Pope Francis during his visit to Thailand in 2019. And over the years, their Majesties have presided over the national Quran recitation competitions in Pattani province. The King's patron of all faiths is the embrace of the diversity of beliefs in our society, empowering our spiritual pursuits while emboldening the unity among differences. It is openness and understanding that lead us to the society of peace, where people of any belief can live together in harmony with kindness, respect, and aspiration. Thank you, ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, Ms. Malinlada. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Panathon Tanikcho Kokun for his speech.
Good afternoon, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to speak in front of you all today. I'd like to discuss something that has played a crucial role in Thailand's peaceful history: unity. Have you ever wondered why Thailand has never been colonized by any Western powers? When we talk about Western and Eastern countries, the first word that comes to my mind is differences. Differences in beliefs, thoughts, or needs are natural. However, in order to avoid conflicts, solutions must be found that all parties can accept. I've recently heard about the protest here in Paris, which reminded me of similar unrest in Thailand's history, such as the Red Church and the Yellow Church political divide, and the religious conflict in southern border provinces, which continues until the present time. Despite the loss, Thailand has always managed to heal through unity. I sincerely hope that the conflict here in Paris will be resolved peacefully as soon as possible. Religious differences have been a cause of many wars throughout history. Thailand, however, has remained a Buddhist country for centuries. Buddhism plays a central role in Thai culture and daily life. Temples serve not only as places of worship, but also as centers of education and charity, helping to shape the values of our society. But how has Thailand remained so deeply connected to Buddhism? As you may know, Thailand is governed by a constitutional monarchy. His Majesty King Mahawachiralongkorn has taken up the responsibility of upholding religious values as the supreme patron of the religions. His Majesty has taken on the royal duty of supporting and protecting the faiths of all Thais and ensuring that Thailand remains a land where different religious beliefs can be together with unity. By encouraging dialogue between different faiths, His Majesty ensures that the religion remains a force for unity and harmony in Thailand. Through his actions, His Majesty reinforces the message that while we may differ in our religious practices, we are united in our shared humanity and love for our nation. Everything I've mentioned answered the questions: how could Thailand remain devoted to Buddhism throughout history? This shows how important monarchy is in Thailand. At first, I asked why Thailand has never been colonized by any Western power. The answer is, in Thailand, we lived with unity and respect all parties. Moreover, our king supports all religions equally, making Thailand a nation of freedom in thoughts and beliefs. When challenges arise, the unity ensures that everyone is ready to help each other. That allows us to always overcome those issues, leading to our keyword of living since the past: unity. Unity is not just a legacy from the past, but it is the key to a peaceful future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Panathon. Next, I would like to announce Mr. Punyapat Palinyakunset for his speech.
Bonjour à tous. Good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Punyapat Parinikunset, but please feel free to call me Cam. I am currently a year 12 student at Essence School in Bangkok, Thailand. It is my honor to stand in front of you today at UNESCO. In a world where diplomacy and international relations are becoming increasingly complex, so I would like to ask everyone about how important is the role of leaders in connecting and building peace among nations. King Rama X holds a special place in the heart of Thai people. He has created a lot of benefit for many nations through his visit abroad. Nowadays, King Rama X remains a key figure in fostering relationships and diplomacy between Thailand and another country. For example, Thailand and France have strong ties in areas such as trade, diplomacy, culture, education, and the most significant aspect is the long-standing history between these two nations, which has laid a strong foundation for cooperation in fields like technology, industry, and the fashion sector. This continues to pave the way for a bright future of collaboration. The diplomatic relationship between Thailand and France has a story spanning nearly 340 years, beginning in the 17th century with Thailand's first official diplomatic mission to France. Later, King Louis XIV warmly received King Rama IV envoys, granting them privilege and naming a street, Le de Siam, to honor their visit. Since that time, the two countries have engaged in regular exchange through loyal government and private interactions, building a relationship marked by harmony and mutual respect. In 2016, this relationship was elevated to a strategic partnership, strengthening cooperation in areas such as trade, culture, education, and diplomacy. Economically, the historical trade between Thailand and France, ranging from sappan wood, silk, and spice to the aircraft that we use every day, has sustained over centuries, with France remaining one of Thailand's top trading partners. Moreover, King Rama X continued to foster this strong bond with an emphasis on trade and culture exchange. Tourism, too, has played a significant role in bilateral relations with Thailand, welcoming over 700,000 French tourists annually before the pandemic. Despite the global challenge, more than 400,000 French tourists visited Thailand in recent years, underscoring the enduring nature of their relationship. These diplomatic and economic partnerships highlight the long-standing ties between the two nations, which continue to increase in strength and depth over time. Overall, the relationship between Thailand and France during the reign of King Rama X remained close and has continually developed in various aspects, including the economy, education, culture, and diplomacy, as previously mentioned. His efforts have fostered a sustainable and mutually beneficial partnership between the two nations. Without the contribution of King Rama X and the royal family, it is possible that Thailand might not enjoy such strong and positive relationship with France, a country with remarkable capability in many areas. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Punyapat Parit Yakun Sen, for those valuable insights. Now, let's hear from Mr. Ayapon Lekpitaya. Please welcome to the stage.
Bonjour, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know who has managed to create peace for citizens in Thailand? If I ask the Thai people, in the 10 reigns, which kings have managed to establish peace? I can guarantee that many will answer the King Rama I, 5th, and 9th, but few will answer King Rama X. I would like to propose why I would answer King Rama X, but first to introduce myself. My name is Ayapoli Pitaya. You may call me Eugene, and I'm currently studying at Patron Demonstration School. I am really honored to speak here today. Unlike the protagonist in the movies, His Majesty King Mahavajiralongkorn, Pavajiralongkorn Chao Yuhua, known as Rama X, prefers to work behind the scenes. Many Thais have a misconception that makes people around the world overlook King Rama X's good deeds, so they think his reign has been a passive period. What many people don't know is that King Rama X is a very hard-working, selfless, and virtuous individual. How do I know this? I am certain that many of you know how much dedication military training requires. Throughout my teenage years, I have been a Boy Scout, which is similar to military training but for juniors. Later on in high school, all boys are required to attend Territorial Defense Student, which is a program that aims to introduce civilians to military tactics in order to prepare students to be ready in the future. It is extremely excruciating, even though it cannot be compared to a military rank. Regardless of these hardships that I have experienced myself, someone who has even more self-discipline to go through this process in a more intense manner is King Rama X. Before his reign, he spent 6 years at a military school in Australia. This shows that King Rama X is resilient and purposeful. It is also worth mentioning that King Rama X covertly studies Buddhist teachings, meditates every single day, and publishes many Buddhist books. What many people don't know is that King Rama X actually requires a lot of willpower and dedication to do this process. I know this personally, since I was ordained to be a neophyte when I was about 8 years old. At that time, I couldn't even meditate longer than 5 minutes. Conversely, King Rama X, currently 72 years old, meditates approximately 1 to 2 hours every single day. This also illustrates that King Rama X is resilient and purposeful. Furthermore, King Rama X applies the 10 virtues of the Buddhist ruler. These virtues are the principles derived from King Asoka, the great emperor of Magadha. These principles, such as gentleness or matawa, and patient forbearance, khanti, are important because they promote resilience in the face of adversity and can help the ruler make the country prosperous. Even when King Rama X was applying to the military school in Australia, he showcased the 10 virtues of the Buddhist ruler because he once struggled to complete all the matriculated requirements. Yet, his heart remained strong and filled with determination. He continued to work hard in order to accomplish the goal, such as studying between 5 and 7 hours a day and practicing writing essays. As a result, his hard work paid off, and he was accepted to study in Australia for 6 years. The 10 virtues of the Buddhist ruler that fit perfectly in this example are self-control or tapa, and patient forbearance, khanti. Evidently, the 10 virtues of the Buddhist ruler can be seen in King Rama X. Not only does it prove that King Rama X has created peace in Thailand, but it also shows that these principles are the important guides that can be followed to lead a good country. However, ladies and gentlemen, the 10 virtues of the Buddhist ruler are universal. Everyone can apply them regardless of their race, gender, ethnicity, or religion. Hence, I urge all of you listening here today to practice these principles in your own capacity. One does not have to be a ruler of a country to apply it. I believe everyone, from young people like me to citizens, local governments, and national governments, can benefit from these principles. As a youth, I have applied the 10 virtues of the Buddhist ruler. I ensure that I am always honest and full of integrity. In fact, I think it is even more important for the newer generation to practice these principles so that we can contribute to our societies to be more prosperous. Ladies and gentlemen, peace can be created by all of us. King Rama X is an excellent example of the royal patron and all faiths. But I am confident that if everyone practices these principles, we can say that citizens are a part of creating peace in their societies. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, Mr. Ayapon Lek Pitaya. Please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Ms. Parinyakorn Jirawalagun.
Good afternoon, everyone. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Parinyakorn Jirawalagun, and I'm from Harrow International School, Bangkok. I am honored to be standing here today as one of the youth representations from Thailand. Today, I will be talking about how we have defined peace differently and what it means to find peace today. There is a certain beauty to the word peace. In the eyes of some, peace may be the definition of paradise, devoid of conflict and negativity. For others, perhaps it represents the love, kindness, and collaboration we as humans give to each other. And occasionally, it can be a means of avoiding unwanted problems, offering relief from the harsh reality of this world. Peace has many meanings. And while it is an abstract yet intriguing concept that has many ways for interpretation, I would like to give clarity by telling my own way of defining peace. Having been raised in a Buddhist household, values of peace and the sense of being considerate are upheld by my family. My mother taught me to see others through another point of view and attempt to understand their opinions whenever arguments arise. My father taught me to help others in need. And last but not least, my grandmother showed me how a calm mind could mediate even the angriest conflicts. From all these lessons, I found out that by taking a moment to breathe and relax your mind, you may find that the stressful whirlwind of thoughts inside your mind may slow down for you to regain your awareness. All the work-induced anxiety melts away, and the refreshing feeling that follows is peaceful. This is what I've learned from my family to make sure that every moment, however small, always has a kind of peaceful sanctuary to help regulate our emotions and live our lives with happiness. But what about the definition of peace on a societal level? In Thailand, I have seen beautiful acts of kindness that reflect the lessons of peace my parents taught to me at a young age. I have seen these good deeds in action and observed the grateful smiles that come right after. Sometimes it can be as simple as opening a door for others to pass through, or picking up a fallen item. No matter the way the act of kindness is carried out, it always results in happiness. In the wider scope of things, Thailand has welcomed people of all ethnicities within our borders. Our royal family's generosity and willingness to accommodate foreigners show our commitment to securing world peace. Opportunities are endless, and that is seen in our diverse culture and cities, where there are increased business affairs leading to the improvement of language and cultural exchanges. But what if some people can't achieve those large-scale acts of kindness? While the big nation-level acts do bring more recognizable change than small ones, sometimes the easiest thing to do is incorporate small amounts of it into our everyday lives. From my earlier point of finding peace in little moments, those small moments can be shared with others. Peace can be found in between chaos to help soothe your inner turmoil. From time to time, it is all right to feel that upholding peace in a world full of suffering and conflict is hard, even impossible. But however, maybe peace isn't out of reach and may be hiding in plain sight all along. In this world where we find it so rigid and compact, what will you do to make it better? Remember my point about the small moments of kindness? A simple yet cheerful greeting could make someone's day and lift their spirits. Or perhaps take the time to genuinely compliment someone's appearance. The path to world peace isn't all grand plans and huge operations. As we all know, achieving something takes time. The small stepping stones that we make are, little by little, propelling us towards our goal. It is the fleeting, heartfelt moments in life that eventually lead to inspiration, to ideas, and then to change. Thank you.
We appreciate those inspiring words from Ms. Pariyakon Jiarawat Warakun. Let's now turn to Master Chawin Chalit Wong Patana, who will share his perspective.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, distinguished delegates, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a profound honor to be part of this prestigious peace conference. In my part, I will share to you about His Majesty King Mahawashilalongkorn, as known as King Rama X in Thai people's hearts. Thailand is a country with a rich cultural heritage and a religious diversity. The country's official religion is Buddhism, and it is practiced by the majority of the population. All 10 kings of the Chakri dynasty, the dynasty that has reigned over modern Thailand, have all been Buddhist. Even though the king practices Buddhism, all faiths in the Thai kingdom are treated equally. Tosapidrashatam. The 10 duties of Buddhist rulers become the cornerstone of his royal duties to his subjects from all walks of life without the boundary of religions. Tosapidrashatam is a set of important Buddhist teachings. They are intended to serve as virtues of duties of the kings or of rulers. The 10 principles are as follows. 1. Generosity. 2. High moral character. 3. Self-sacrifice. 4. Integrity. 5. Kindness. 6. Self-control and non-indulgence. 7. Non-anger. 8. Non-violence. 9. Patience. And 10. Non-deviation from righteousness. You may wonder how the virtues of a king can bring peace for all and harmony in Thai society. Strategically, the virtues of the king have been conducted to assure people that our king, since ancient time until King Rama X, have been practicing these virtues in order to keep his people well taken care of in peace. A part of the teaching is intended to guide people to follow King's footsteps by spreading these virtues to one another in cooperation with the King's giving. Therefore, in Thai society, we have found peace from the whole society. In practice of generosity, King donates to Thai people basic necessities for good living conditions, such as dams for agriculture, schools for education, and hospitals for health. And people can just give generosity and forgiveness to one another to keep the society in sustainable peace. For the king, Forgiveness is exercised by king graciously granting forgiveness, even in cases of insult to royal authorities. With the vision of the country's future, His Majesty the King has a strong determination to continue royal-initiated projects, which covered all areas of development, such as water resources management, improvement of people's well-being and livelihoods, public health care, education, natural resources conservation, and stabilities of the country. This devotion has established and implemented many royal-initiated projects. Since His Majesty was titled as the Crown Prince, which was 27 consecutive years ago. With all His Majesty's hard work devoted to the development of Thailand, I believe that it's a deep root to Thai people's peace today. And all of it must be propelled by King Mahawashilalongkorn's precious heart. All Thai people have been well taken care of in peace until now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your perspective, Master Chawin Chalit Wong Pathana. Next, let's invite Master Lerthan Ratana Chaikun into the stage.
Hello everyone, my name is Latana Shakit, or you could call me Captain. I am from 6th grade in RAS Remedy International School in Bangkok, Thailand, the land of smiles. Today I'd like to take you guys on a brief journey back 2,500 years ago, where Buddhism started. It all started with Siddhartha Gautama, or now known as the Buddha, who was born in the 6th century as a prince in Nepal. And Siddhartha had everything: wealth, money, and luxury. But he couldn't stop wondering, why do people suffer? And then on the age of 29, he left his royal life behind in search for answers. And after years of deep meditation, he attained enlightenment over the four noble truths and the truth of suffering and how to overcome them. The four noble truths are Thuk, Samudaya, Nirod, and Mrrk, which all mean suffering and emotion. Since I am Buddhist, I have once became a novice monk before, and this experience deeply shaped my life. And because I had to live the daily life of I have to wash my own dishes, I had to pray daily, I had no shoes or a phone. How did I even survive that? And I also had to wear a set of clothes called a chiwon, which is basically an orange robe of calmness. Because if you're not calm and it falls off you, you become naked. But this experience deeply grounded me in simplicity and taught me how to be with the present. My master's simple teaching, Yu Ka Pajuban, which means be with the present, always tells me to not think about the future or worry about the past. And in today's fast-paced world, Buddhist practices like mindfulness and meditation are as valuable as ever. And before I end, whether you're Buddhist or not, I'd like to share some wisdom and quotes from my family. My mother usually says that always forgive even if it's unforgivable, since if you don't forgive, there will always be you will have a grudge against that person, and it will only burden your heart. And my brother says that suffering comes from attachment, because if you're attached to someone and they leave you, you suffer. and the more you're attached to them, the more you suffer. It's sort of like glue. If you put it on your arm and then you peel it off, it will hurt. And then my master's simple teaching, be with the present. Since I already explained it, I'd like to take you all out and tell you all and show you all a way of how to be with the present. I'd like everyone to put their hands on their chest and breathe in and breathe out. Thank you for listening.
With gratitude to Master Lerth Ratana Chaikun for their words, I'm pleased to invite his older brother, Mr. Chalat Lerth Ratana Chaikit, to the stage. Please give him a warm welcome.
It's an absolute honor to be invited to speak here today. I'm delighted to meet so many dignitaries, ambassador of countries, ambassador of culture, and the ambassador of peace. I know it's the second time that I'm up here today, and it's quite a long afternoon for all of you, me as well. So keep this short and brief. First of all, my name is Chalat Lerth Ratana Chaikit, and I currently study at WFBY International School in Bangkok, Thailand. Whoa. Just the thought of being here today, seeing all of your faces, I feel Grain-Jai. A lot of people here would probably not understand the concept of Grain-Jai, but that's the beauty of it. It's an essential part of my culture, the Thai culture, and it's something that brings about peace for endless time to come. Grain-Jai has been with us from the days of our founding fathers. It's a feeling of not wanting to put another person out or hurt another person's feelings. It's a feeling of consideration for others, but it's not performing a certain act because someone else might feel bad about what you're doing. But it's a natural act of Thai people that was done without any desire for acknowledgement. But that's pretty complex, right? So to put that into perspective, let's say you're around your parents, your elder. You feel a certain sense of Grain-Jai. You're feeling considerate toward them and are trying to meet their needs in a variety of ways, automatically. In this case, a form of filial piety as well. Now, by having such Grain-Jai toward your elder, although your gesture may be little, may be insignificant, but it gives your elder, your parent, your grandparent, a sense of contentment, fulfillment, satisfaction, and it also gives you a sense of contentment and also internal peace. Zooming out a little bit, my country, Thailand, it also thrived because of this concept. The religious and ethnic diversity was because of our sense of Grain-Jai. And ever since the arrival of the Portuguese 500 years ago, us, the Thai people, whether it be the king or the general Siamese, received them with Grain-Jai. Then, whether it be Muslim Arabic, Shia, Sunni, Taoist Chinese, Confucianist Chinese, in fact, all faiths were accepted and respected, forming what is now a multi-religious, multicultural country that Thailand is today. And it's because of this sense of Grain-Jai in all manifestation that keep us together as Thai and the Thai people. Without Grain-Jai being so ingrained into our nature since the time of our founding, such diversification would not have been possible. If we were so motivated to be acknowledged and lack care for the feelings of other people. In fact,
In another word, lacking เกรงใจ Thailand would have become a closed society, an expanding balloon that would have exploded any time. To sum it up, we Thai people have another saying, ปิดทองหลังพระ which is an expression metaphorically used to signify performing charitable deeds without seeking recognition. From the king to us, the ordinary Thai people, we remain the land of smiles because of this concept. And if we can all continue to employ such concept so deeply into our daily lives, imagine what a peaceful society our world would become. Conflict would not arise because no one need to prove a point. No one need to showcase their power. And we all acted in a way that is considerate toward everyone else. And lastly, I would like to end my speech with a little note of gratitude to all of those behind the scene, those with such great sense of เกรงใจ that not only care for all of us here today, but also wish for the best progress of this wonderful world. Whether it be the translator who's been working very hard without any seeking for acknowledgement, or even those who clean up and making this venue amazing for all of us here today. And also all of you, the dignitaries. Without even knowing, your sense of เกรงใจ brought us all here because we truly care for the feelings of other, for the thing that the other people will face. And it's the peace of this moment that we hope continues forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chalat Lelatnachai Kit. Lastly, please welcome Master Kantachai Thai Ali for his speech.
Good afternoon, Venerable, Your Excellencies, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kantachai Thai Ali. I am a senior student from Shrewsbury International School of Bangkok. I am from Thailand, and I am truly honored to be given this such amazing opportunity to stand here in front of you, all such distinguished guests. Today, we gathered to discuss the theme of continuing a sustainable society of peace through education, the royal patron of all faiths. My focus today is on how Buddhism teaches us to cultivate true happiness, not through materialistic matters, but through inner peace and the cessation of suffering. In Buddhism, happiness is rooted within the cessation of suffering, or duk, or tuk in Thai, oftentimes caused by attachments and cravings. These desires often leave us unfulfilled as we chase for things that are only temporary. Through mindfulness acts like meditation, Buddhism helps us break free from this chain of suffering, allowing us to experience true happiness. The 10 virtues of Buddhism provide a clear framework for ending suffering and experiencing true contentment. The 10 virtues of Buddhism, or paramatas, are virtues that guide us towards spiritual growth and lasting happiness. They go as follow. Generosity. Act of giving, not just materialistic things, but also kindness and support. Morality, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, and equanimity. Each of these virtues serve as a guide for individuals to cultivate inner joy and peaceful living, contributing not only to personal happiness, but also to the betterment of society. In today's often fast-paced and chaotic world, we may find ourselves lost in emotions of perhaps bewilderment. The 10 virtues of Buddhism provide us a timeless form of wisdom that is still used to our society within this very day. Amongst the 10 virtues, in my opinion, generosity seems to stand out as a key to happiness. It goes beyond material giving and involves giving compassion, time, and maybe kindness. By focusing on the well-being of others, we create a shift from our self-centered desires to the joy of helping others. The Buddha taught himself that generosity leads to happiness by creating positive karma and fostering awareness for others. He said, "If beings knew, as I know, the results of giving and sharing, they would not have eaten without having given." In our modern day life, generosity is not about monetary giving, but it also extends to time, love, and kindness. It helps reduce isolation and builds deeper, more meaningful bonds in our communities. When we incorporate these virtues into our daily life, we reduce stress and we experience more fulfillment. Personally, I have experienced such profound joy of generosity to this level for the first time when I had the opportunity to give to those in need. Over the past maybe 2 years, I've had the privilege of traveling with my grandfather, the president of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, to some of the most remote and the most northern parts of Thailand, areas like Omgai in Chiang Mai, where people have no access to education, religion, or even nationality. During these visits, I witnessed something truly moving. People overwhelmed with gratitude, shedding tears as they accepted a donated Buddha image. They held the image above their heads in reverence. And for the first time, I felt the deep sense of fulfillment and contentment. Seeing the power of generosity firsthand was transformative, made me realize the true meaning of giving and generosity as it is. This experience also connects with the vision of King Rama X, who is also known as the royal patron of all faiths. His commitment to promoting unity and peace among people of different backgrounds mirrors the essence of Buddhism's teaching on generosity and compassion. In that moment, I realized how these simple acts of giving extend beyond material support. They foster a sense of shared humanity and contribute to the greater peace and harmony that King Rama X further advocates for, not just within Thailand, but across all faiths and all communities. Generosity can create happiness in our society by reducing attachments and cravings. By giving, we loosen our hold on material things, reducing suffering. It builds positive karma, bringing happiness back to the giver, to the receiver, and to the community. It strengthens social connections. It fosters trust and enhances emotional well-being. Selfless actions, like giving, provide moral worth, leading to a much more deeper and much more meaningful sense of happiness within our communities. Thank you for giving me the honor and the opportunity to speak in front of you all, such distinguished guests in this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Kantachai Thai Ali, our last your speaker, for sharing your ideas. And thank you to all of our 10 youth representation for their wonderful speech.
Now, we'll move on to our panel discussion titled Religion, a Source of Strength in a Challenging World, Interfaith and Intercultural Dialogue Towards United Human Values. Moderating this session will be Mr. Mehrdad Shabahan. Next, I'd like to invite our 5 distinguished panelists on stage. First, Mr. Bajengari Savelyev. Second, Professor Dr. Ank Webb. Third, Ms. Maria Teresa Siniskako. Fourth, Reverend Yoshiharu Tomatsu. And lastly, Professor Fabio Piteto. Now we'll give the floor to them.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of UNESCO, I would like to welcome you once again to your house, the House of UNESCO. I would like to thank also the permanent delegation of Thailand for organizing today's event and their efforts for this, let's say, outstanding contribution to the culture of peace. My name is, as it was mentioned, Mertaj Shabahang. I am the program specialist in charge of UNESCO Silk Road program, and that's a pleasure for me to moderate today this panel discussion this afternoon. Indeed, we are opening this roundtable in line with the UNESCO's mandate for promoting the culture of peace and also the intercultural dialogue. As you may know, UNESCO has been involved and also is engaged to the promoting or promotion of culture of peace since more than half a century through different initiatives. By, I would say, 1960s, UNESCO started the general and regional histories in order to bring the people of different cultures and also different regions together to write together a shared narrative of history and contribute to this culture of peace. Later, UNESCO launched the Roots of Dialogue initiative that was for, again, retracing the different channels, different roads that brought the people of different cultures and regions together for promoting the intercultural dialogue. One of the most, let's say, important and outstanding initiatives in this regard has been the Silk Roads program that was launched in 1988, more than 35 years ago. And within this initiative, UNESCO was also retracing and also identifying the history of the inter-religious dialogue and the exchanges between the different religions and how these exchanges contributed to a peaceful world during last centuries. Now this afternoon, we have the pleasure to have outstanding experts here for this roundtable, and I'm honored to moderate this roundtable, which has been supported by the NGO UNESCO Liaison Committee. And the major goal of this roundtable is to highlighting the role of religious and spiritual traditions in developing a culture of peace and also non-violence through education. To this end, we are a little bit beyond our time, so allow me to go to our first speaker, Madame Béranger Savaliev, I'm sorry, the Peace Educator Officer or Education Officer for the Pax Christi movement. Madame Savaliev joined Pax Christi in April 2021, and as a Peace Education Officer, she has worked for the reception and also integration of the Russian-speaking asylum seekers and refugees, mainly from the Muslim republics of the North Caucasus and Central Asia. In the course of this work, she has witnessed the ravages of war and people with post-traumatic memories, which would later become the source of her commitment to peace, but also the resilience of the people who rely on the pillars of the faith and their relationship with transcendence. During the years, she has worked with those most in need. She also practiced a daily interfaith dialogue, essentially focused on achievements of the social practice and also social justice, and works in common charity. She is also involved in inter-religious rapprochement program, notably as a part of UNESCO working group. So I am pleased now to give the floor to Madame Savaliev to present her views to us this afternoon. Please, you have the floor.
Alors avant de commencer, permettez-moi de remercier au nom de toutes les ONG qui constituent le groupe de travail sur le dialogue interreligieux à l'UNESCO, la délégation permanente du Royaume de Thaïlande, l'Organisation mondiale des Bouddhistes et l'association PAHD pour l'organisation de cette table ronde. Donc je vais vous présenter un petit peu les activités de notre groupe à l'UNESCO et je tâcherai d'être concise et vous en donner donc une vue d'ensemble. Alors peut-être commencer par le constat qui nous a saisis et qui a été la base de notre désir de nous rassembler pour constituer ce groupe de travail. Plusieurs d'entre nous ont effectivement pu constater qu'au cours des dernières années, le dialogue interreligieux avait disparu des programmes de l'UNESCO, alors même qu'il avait été considéré pendant de nombreuses années comme un levier incontournable de la construction de la paix et l'entente entre les peuples. Or, l'Assemblée générale des Nations unies a pris une résolution le 10 décembre 2020 qui marque une prise en compte fondamentale du rôle du dialogue interreligieux dans la construction d'une culture de paix. Il s'agit de la résolution 75-26 pour la promotion du dialogue, de l'entente, de la coopération entre les religions et les cultures au service de la paix. Et cette résolution reconnaît, d'une part, que toutes les religions sont attachées à la paix et que, je cite, « le respect des différences culturelles, ethniques, religieuses et linguistiques contribue à la paix, à l'entente et à l'amitié entre les personnes de cultures et de nations différentes. » D'autre part, le dialogue entre les religions et les cultures y est désigné, je cite, comme un élément important des efforts faits pour la paix, la stabilité sociale et l'action menée pour atteindre tous les objectifs de développement durable. Que le dialogue interreligieux entre religions, groupes et individus, en particulier les chefs religieux, peut aider à faire mieux connaître et mieux comprendre les valeurs communes à l'ensemble du genre humain. Et que de ce fait, devraient être encouragées toutes les activités destinées, je cite, à promouvoir le dialogue entre les religions et les cultures de manière à renforcer la paix et la stabilité sociale, le respect de la diversité et le respect mutuel. Enfin, la résolution invite les États membres à continuer d'agir en faveur de la réconciliation afin de contribuer à assurer une paix et un développement durable, notamment en collaborant avec les communautés religieuses et leurs dirigeants, en prenant des mesures de réconciliation et de solidarité et en encourageant le pardon et la compassion entre les êtres humains, ce qui peut être fait aussi grâce au dialogue interreligieux. Donc ce pas en arrière nous a fortement interpellés, dans la mesure où l'UNESCO étant l'agence des Nations Unies spécialisée dans l'éducation à une culture de paix, nous estimons qu'elle doit continuer à considérer le dialogue interreligieux comme un outil efficace de la construction de la paix, et notamment pour répondre à des défis de taille, tels que la montée des extrémismes religieux, mais aussi l'augmentation des phénomènes d'exclusion et de rejet de la diversité observés dans nos sociétés dont les paysages sociaux et religieux sont en constante évolution. La construction de sociétés plus inclusives et plus pacifiques ne peut se faire aujourd'hui sans les apports cruciaux d'un dialogue entre religions et traditions spirituelles qui portent des valeurs partagées d'ouverture à l'autre, de recherche d'harmonie, de charité, et encourage aussi à la résilience face aux injustices sociales et aux mécanismes d'oppression du monde d'aujourd'hui. Il nous a donc paru urgent de porter cette inquiétude au sein d'un groupe dédié à l'UNESCO et d'œuvrer en interne pour permettre au dialogue interreligieux de retrouver sa place, au même titre que le dialogue interculturel, au sein des programmes de l'UNESCO. Donc notre groupe a été créé en ce sens en juin 2021. Il rassemble aujourd'hui 8 ONG internationales, partenaires de l'UNESCO, représentant des religions différentes et toutes engagées dans le dialogue interreligieux. On peut compter comme membres de notre groupe l'Organisation mondiale des Bouddhistes, New Humanity, Pax Christi International, l'association AISA, le Conseil international des femmes juives, les religions pour la paix, l'IFOR et l'Office international de l'enseignement catholique. La mission principale que s'est donnée notre groupe a été formulée ainsi: promouvoir le dialogue entre les religions et les traditions spirituelles pour participer au développement d'une éducation à une culture de paix et de non-violence et à la citoyenneté mondiale. Nous poursuivons 4 objectifs. Le premier, sensibiliser les États membres et les secteurs de l'UNESCO, les ONG, sur les richesses et les enjeux du dialogue interreligieux à l'heure de sociétés multiculturelles. Le deuxième, collaborer à des travaux communs avec les secteurs de l'UNESCO, notamment celui des sciences humaines et sociales. En troisième, assurer un suivi auprès des États membres pour encourager la mise en œuvre de la résolution 75-26 que j'ai citée précédemment. Et enfin, mener à bien des projets en lien avec le réseau des chers partenaires de l'UNESCO. Depuis la création de notre groupe, nous avons mené plusieurs actions de différentes natures pour atteindre ces objectifs. En premier lieu, nous avons été actifs dans la préparation de la conférence générale de novembre 2023 et avons formulé 2 amendements à soumettre aux délégations pour faire apparaître l'importance du dialogue interreligieux dans les axes de travail prioritaires de l'UNESCO pour 2024-2025. Ces amendements visaient à demander, d'une part, que soit inclus dans les programmes éducatifs des États membres l'enseignement de l'histoire des religions, de la règle d'or, ainsi qu'une éducation à l'éthique et à la morale comme composante essentielle d'une éducation à une culture de paix et de non-violence. D'autre part, que soit accordée une attention particulière à la lutte contre les extrémismes, la radicalisation et la stigmatisation des identités culturelles et religieuses dans les actions de lutte contre les discriminations et en faveur de l'inclusion menées par les États membres. En parallèle de cela, le travail de notre groupe a été inscrit par la Conférence internationale des ONG dans les axes de travaux pour 2024-2025. Notre groupe a également cherché à se faire connaître auprès des délégations de plusieurs États membres, et notamment du Sultanat d'Oman. Au vu de l'intérêt porté par le Sultanat d'Oman et de son investissement pour la coexistence pacifique des religions et des cultures dans la péninsule arabique, notre groupe a pu opérer un rapprochement en vue d'une collaboration à l'occasion de la Journée internationale du dialogue comme garantie de paix. En lien avec l'association partenaire Baradza, ici présente, notre groupe s'est vu confier la mission d'organiser une table ronde lors de cette journée pour valoriser le rôle et la contribution du dialogue interreligieux dans l'éducation à une citoyenneté mondiale. Pour des raisons indépendantes de notre volonté, cet événement n'a finalement pas eu lieu à l'UNESCO, mais notre groupe a profité de la venue des différents experts et intervenants internationaux pour organiser un échange entre ONG, pour partager autour de nos différentes expériences de terrain, mettant en œuvre différentes approches du dialogue interreligieux. Pour vous donner un exemple, Pax Christi a présenté lors de cette rencontre des initiatives de son organisation membre Africa Reconciled, qui œuvre pour la paix dans la région en guerre des Grands Lacs, en République démocratique du Congo. Depuis sa création en 2011, cette ONG opère à des rapprochements informels et collaboratifs des leaders religieux responsables de différentes communautés pour les former à la non-violence active, leur apprendre à analyser les dynamiques de violence qui sévissent entre habitants et envisager des alternatives non violentes au cycle de vengeance. Dans ce pays qui compte plus de 450 tribus, la religion a une part prépondérante dans la vie des citoyens et ne peut être en aucun cas écartée des efforts de paix, tant les leaders religieux y font figure d'autorité, mais aussi de pont entre membres de la classe politique dirigeante et les populations locales qui fréquentent les mêmes lieux de culte mais ne se côtoient pas. Africa Reconciled organise également des rencontres pour encourager les leaders religieux à prendre leurs responsabilités dans l'accompagnement de leurs jeunes, en créant des espaces de règlement pacifique des conflits et en les aidant à mener des projets entrepreneuriaux pour réduire le taux d'enrôlement de ces derniers dans les bandes armées. New Humanity vous présentera tout à l'heure aussi, dans la suite de cette table ronde, une expérience sur des écoles qui pratiquent le dialogue interreligieux. Les autres ONG de notre groupe sont toutes riches de projets qu'elles mènent sur le terrain et qui montrent que le dialogue interreligieux est effectivement promoteur de paix. Alors, comme nous n'avons malheureusement pas le temps de donner d'autres exemples d'expériences concrètes, nous pourrons vous fournir d'autres témoignages à travers le travail d'éditorial que nous sommes en train de réaliser en ce moment, visant à sensibiliser et faire découvrir au secteur de l'UNESCO et aux délégations le travail de nos ONG sur le terrain. Et nous envisageons la création d'un outil commun qui sortira en mars 2025 sous forme de journal et qui inclura des contributions écrites sur l'apport des religions dans les réflexions identifiées comme prioritaires pour l'UNESCO, comme par exemple l'usage de l'intelligence artificielle, celui des réseaux sociaux, sur des initiatives aussi interreligieuses pour la défense de l'environnement et soutenir l'écologie intégrale. Enfin, notre groupe travaille au développement de synergies et de collaboration avec d'autres groupes spécialisés dans le dialogue interreligieux qui œuvrent dans d'autres instances internationales. Par exemple, la plupart de nos ONG ont des représentants ou sont déjà présentes au Conseil de l'Europe et participent à l'un des 8 comités thématiques dédiés au dialogue interreligieux et interculturel. À New York, par ailleurs, New Humanity est également présent et actif au sein du Conseil consultatif interconfessionnel des Nations Unies, qui réunit des responsables religieux au niveau institutionnel. Comme le disait l'académicien français Amin Malouf, face à un monde en mutation, la question n'est pas tellement de savoir si nous allons vivre ensemble, la question est plutôt de savoir comment allons-nous vivre ensemble. Dans un monde globalisé en proie à des crises et des guerres qui détruisent et auront un impact sur de nombreuses générations, cette question du comment est en effet essentielle pour penser l'avenir et nous souhaitons que le dialogue interreligieux fasse partie intégrante des réponses pour le construire. Nous pensons qu'il est possible de s'accorder sur des valeurs communes à l'humanité, des valeurs fortes, inaliénables et inviolables, qui concernent et donc ont le potentiel de pouvoir rassembler tous les hommes et tous les peuples. En choisissant, dans l'intitulé de cette table ronde, de parler de la religion comme source de force dans un monde difficile, vous avez pris le contre-pied, et nous vous en remercions, de beaucoup de représentations partielles qui tendent à faire ou à voir dans les religions plus un problème ou une source de malaise ou de conflit qu'une source d'inspiration, de pacification, voire une solution pour promouvoir et penser ce que devrait être une culture de paix. Or, derrière ce terme de religion se cache en réalité un triptyque dont notre monde a grandement besoin, qui se compose de la foi en quelque chose qui dépasse l'homme, qui pousse le deuxième élément, la volonté humaine, à se mettre au service d'une cause qui le dépasse, tout en témoignant dans l'action d'une sagesse qu'on aimerait voir rayonner à nouveau dans notre monde actuel. Foi, volonté humaine et sagesse. L'UNESCO doit porter cette question auprès des États membres. C'est le message que nous souhaitons porter pour cette table ronde. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Savaliev, pour votre présentation de vos activités, bien évidemment très importantes, très intéressantes. Et l'UNESCO aussi souhaiterait savoir davantage de vos activités à ce propos. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to turn to our second speaker of this panel discussion. Oh, if I may keep my papers. I apologize. Yes. Madam Anneke Weber, the Professor for Intercultural Research Methods and Statistics in Hamm-Lippstadt University of Applied Sciences and President of in Germany indeed, and the President of Association Baraza. Madam Weber has been very active and she has studied economics at the John Wolfgang Goethe University in Frankfurt am Main, in Germany, with an exchange study at the University of the New York School for Social Research in USA. Her dissertation was in the impacts of the ethnic diversity on education in Africa at the University of Zurich, Switzerland. And she also spent 5 months conducting field researches in Kenya and Tanzania in this regard. As a guest lecturer, she taught micro and macroeconomics at the National University of Rwanda. Also, she has worked in USA and in Switzerland as a consultant in the Human Development Department of the World Bank. She worked also as a research officer in the Econometrics and Applied Statistics Department at the Joint Research Center of the European Commission in Italy. Also, if I may, you see, she is very active. She has also worked in Eurostat as the statistical office, in the statistical office of the European Commission in Luxembourg, where she has developed health indicators to compare progress in EU countries. Now you have the floor, and we are very eager to hear from you, from your perspective. toward our roundtable discussion today.
Thank you very much. If I may have my slides, perfect. So thank you very much for this kind introduction. And ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and esteemed colleagues, it is a profound privilege to stand before you today at this vital roundtable organized by the NGO UNESCO Liaison Committee. Thank you very much again for inviting me to share some insights on activities to overcome the challenges of interreligious and interfaith dialogue. These are inspired by my own research on multicultural teamwork at the Hamm-Lippstadt University of Applied Sciences and by our practical experiences at Baraza, a non-profit organization based in Germany. And if I can have my next slide. Okay.
May I ask you help our technicians?
Okay, no worries. Let me just continue. We gather at a pivotal moment in history, one characterized by unprecedented challenges that threaten our global peace and harmony. Yet, amidst these trials, we also have an extraordinary opportunity to foster interfaith and intercultural dialogue, harnessing the strength of our diverse spiritual traditions to cultivate a culture of peace. The theme we're addressing today, religion, a source of strength in a challenging world, invites us to reflect on how our faith can serve as beacons of hopes, guiding us toward shared human values. In a world often marred by divisions, the activities of organizations like ours demonstrate how dialogue can transcend boundaries, fostering understanding and collaboration among different faiths. Interfaith dialogue is not merely an act of goodwill. It is a necessity in our increasingly interconnected world. As we witness rising tensions rooted in religious misunderstandings and conflicts, we must actively seek common ground. The current geopolitical climate reminds us of the urgent need for a compassionate dialogue and cooperation. Each faith tradition carries profound wisdom and moral teachings that can guide us in our quest for peace. While the need for interfaith dialogue is evident on a global scale, it is equally important to recognize the role of education in fostering these values from a young age. Educational activities for children, whether in formal schools or non-formal settings, serve as crucial environments where they can develop a deep understanding and respect for diverse religious and cultural perspectives. Research has consistently demonstrated the vital role of education in promoting intercultural and interfaith tolerance. Studies show that educational programs designed to foster cultural understanding and empathy significantly reduce prejudice and stereotypes among children. Furthermore, integrating intercultural dialogue into both formal and informal learning environments has been proven to enhance social cohesion and prepare young people for more diverse and inclusive societies. More importantly, studies indicate that early exposure to diverse cultures and beliefs is instrumental in shaping attitudes towards tolerance and acceptance. Academic research reveals that children who are exposed to multicultural education are more likely to develop positive attitudes towards peers from different backgrounds. This foundational understanding can significantly reduce prejudice and cultivate a sense of belonging among children. So the question remains, how can we effectively implement these educational strategies? Academic research highlights the effectiveness of artistic methods in fostering interfaith dialogue by encouraging creative expression and empathy. Studies have shown that arts-based approaches such as theater, music, and visual arts allow participants to explore and communicate diverse perspectives in a non-confrontational way. Research also supports the integration of life skills training, such as emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and interfaith differences. Together, these methods have been proven to enhance mutual understanding, reduce prejudice, and promote lasting dialogue between different faith communities. These are the research findings that we have used at Baraza to develop our approaches. At Baraza, we firmly believe that education is the unshakable foundation upon which lasting peace is built. Baraza, which translates to council in Swahili, is a council for mutual understanding. Our nonprofit organization is dedicated to nurturing intercultural and interfaith understanding and cooperation through a global network of committed individuals and communities. Our mission is to create opportunities for learning and dialogue, fostering an environment where ideas can be shared to advance peaceful relations among different, diverse cultures and faiths. Through our various activities, we aim to break down barriers and build bridges of understanding. Our vision is ambitious, yet vital. We strive for the pursuit of respect and acceptance across the world. We envision a future where societies are equipped to promote universal human values, creating a foundation for harmony and collaboration. By empowering individuals and communities to embrace diversity, Baraza is committed to contributing to a more peaceful and inclusive world. Having shared our vision for a more inclusive and peaceful world, I would now like to highlight concrete ways in which Baraza brings this vision to life. Let me therefore introduce two of our key initiatives: the coloring book on world religions and our unity training book. The first key activity is our coloring book on world religion, and you might have already found a complimentary copy on your desk, and this is a short video on this.
So that kids can learn about the world's major religions in an entertaining way. It's free to download. Printed copies can be ordered online. We're hoping to raise enough funds to have it produced in many more languages, with printed copies for sponsors to give away themselves.
Thank you very much. So feel free to take the copy of the coloring book home. The coloring book is thoughtfully crafted to introduce children at kindergarten level to diverse faith in a way that is both engaging and easy to understand. In an age where children are often exposed to divisive narratives and misunderstandings about different cultures and religions, this coloring book serves as a vital tool for education and empathy. And it is also what has been repeatedly shown in research, namely that early exposure to diverse perspectives can significantly reduce prejudice and foster inclusivity. The coloring book introduces children to the richness of various faiths in an engaging and approachable manner. By incorporating elements of arts and storytelling, we allow young learners to explore and appreciate the values, beliefs, and practices that shape the world around them. Through this creative engagement, we encourage curiosity, dialogue, and respect. The coloring book is available in 16 languages and has been already distributed to schools in Indonesia, Lebanon, Germany, Switzerland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Bulgaria. The feedback we received from educators and parents alike has been overwhelmingly positive. Teachers report that the coloring book has sparked meaningful discussions in classrooms, enabling students to share their own experiences and learn from another. Parents have expressed gratitude for a resource that not only entertains, but also educates the people about the diversity of religions and faith. A second example of the educational activities at Baraza to promote intercultural dialogue is our Unity Youth Leadership Training Program. The Unity Training Program empowers young leaders to engage in constructive dialogue and community building, equipping them with essential life skills like confidence, critical thinking, and empathy. In an era where divisive rhetoric often overshadows meaningful conversations, fostering a generation that values inclusivity and collaboration is crucial. Through Unity, we prepare youth to tackle complex global challenges, turning obstacles into opportunities for connection and unity. Unity stands for Understand, Navigate, Inclusive Teamwork, and You, and encapsulates the core ideas of this life skills initiative. As our flagship program, Unity provides a unique encounter-based learning environment designed to cultivate open-minded, capable, and resilient citizens ready to face societal challenges. It builds self-confidence and prepares young people for life by promoting positive values of integration and diversity, turning participants into assets for communities. Unity has been piloted in Germany, the UK, and India. The overwhelmingly positive feedback from the initiative led to the program's expansion, and we actually work right now on a Train the Teachers program, and also introducing the Unity module to younger ages. One of the key aspects of Unity is its ability to nurture positive relationships between participants from different religious, spiritual, and humanistic traditions. It promotes networking and mutual respect, ensuring that participants, regardless of their religion or worldview, can engage fully in the program. This is again consistent with the scientific research showing that youth leadership training programs significantly enhance interpersonal skills, civic engagement, and awareness of social issues, preparing participants to become active, compassionate leaders. In addition to fostering respect and networking, Unity's approach deepens its impact by creating a unique space where young people can openly share experiences and perspectives across diverse backgrounds. Through workshops, discussions, and collaborative projects, participants learn to value empathy and understanding. The program also emphasizes cultivating a sense of agency among young people. By encouraging them to take on leadership roles, we help them recognize the potential to drive positive change within their communities. Participants engage with pressing issues such as social justice, environmental sustainability, and cultural understanding, discovering that they can actively shape the world around them. Feedback, again, has been both inspiring and affirming. Many participants have reported that the program transformed their perspective on leadership and community engagement. They now feel more confident initiating conversations around difficult topics, building bridges between opposing viewpoints. This is precisely what Unity seeks to achieve, a new generation of leaders equipped with not only knowledge, but also the empathy and courage to advocate for peace and understanding. The Coloring Book on World Religions and the Unity Program are two examples of Baraza's initiatives. Drawing on these examples, I would like now to discuss two broader points on promoting interfaith and intercultural dialogue. Firstly, activities to promote intercultural dialogue should be introduced from a very early age to lay the foundation for lasting peace. When young children learn to value and understand these diverse cultures and beliefs and perspectives, they develop empathy, tolerance, and the skills needed to navigate in an increasingly interconnected world. As we strive for a future where differences are celebrated rather than feared, it is important to remember that the youth are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the change makers of today. Programs like Unity and the Coloring Book inspire young people to embrace their roles as ambassadors of peace, fostering a culture of understanding that transcends borders and beliefs. Early exposure to intercultural dialogue shapes how children perceive differences, replacing fear or prejudice with curiosity and respect, ultimately creating a generation inclined to embrace diversity and collaborate across cultures. By prioritizing these values in an early education, we help build a future rooted in harmony and mutual respect. Educating children in intercultural and interfaith tolerance is not just an option, it is an imperative. By equipping the next generation with the tools to appreciate diversity, we lay the groundwork for a more peaceful and inclusive society. The second point that I would like to make centers on the question, who is needed to carry out this crucial work? And here, all of us at this round table will agree that NGOs are vital in facilitating these educational experiences of children. Research supports this and highlights the crucial role NGOs play in fostering intercultural and interfaith dialogue, stepping in where formal education systems may fall short. Schools often prioritize standardized curricula and lack the flexibility, time, or resources to engage meaningfully with intercultural exchange. In contrast, NGOs are uniquely positioned to address these limitations by adapting readily to local contexts, societal shifts, and emerging needs, facilitating authentic, cross-cultural, and interfaith connections that encourage and respect empathy. Through diverse programs, from community-based workshops to youth dialogues, NGOs create platforms that actively divides and foster mutual understanding. These learning opportunities, often difficult to incorporate with traditional educational structures, allow individuals to connect on a deeper level, cultivating cultural sensitivity and an appreciation for shared values across diverse backgrounds. The work of NGOs thus complements formal education by creating inclusive spaces that encourage collaboration, dispel stereotypes, and empower people to become advocates for intercultural dialogue. Moreover, the impact of grassroots organizations in promoting interfaith understanding cannot be overstated. In many regions, these organizations work tirelessly, often at great personal risk, to bring communities together, educate young people, and build lasting relationships between different faith groups. Their unwavering commitment to peace building acts as the lifeblood of social cohesion, inspiring a culture of inclusivity that spreads beyond communities and into society at large. For NGOs to continue their essential work effectively and sustainably, financial support is paramount. Much of the impact relies on the dedication of volunteers, but to sustain these efforts, reliable funding is crucial. Financial contribution enable NGOs to expand their programs, invest in resources, and build the necessary infrastructure for long-term intercultural and interfaith initiatives. This support can come from various sources, including government funding and multinational organizations like the UNESCO, and we're very grateful for everyone that we can be here today, which recognize the value of intercultural education in fostering global peace and understanding. By providing consistent financial backing, states and international bodies can ensure that NGOs have the stability to carry out this vital work, reaching more communities and creating lasting change. And in closing, I invite each of us to commit to cultivating a culture of peace that extends beyond our lives and enriches those of future generations. And we can find inspiration in the words of Mahatma Gandhi: if we are to teach real peace in this world, and if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with the children. Together, we hold the power to create a legacy rooted in understanding and respect, where every individual, regardless of background, is valued and their voice uplifted. As we move forward, let us remember that our shared humanity far outweighs any differences. Together, let us shape a world where diversity is celebrated and peace is the common hope that unites us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Weber, for your precise presentation of the work of the Brazza Association, as well as especially the importance that you accord to the education and cultivating the culture of peace. Indeed, as you certainly know, the founding chart of UNESCO is, as the wars start in the human mind, it is in the human mind that we have to cultivate the culture of peace. And indeed, in different fields, including in the inter-religious dialogue, UNESCO accords very, very high importance to the educating and cultivating the culture of dialogue and inter-religious, intercultural dialogue in the different age levels, including children. They are very important. So you can count on UNESCO to support your activities, and we hope that we can benefit from the result of your NGO and other NGOs work in this field. Now, allow me to give the floor to Madam Maria Teresa Siniscalco from Italy. She works as an expert for the National Institute for the Evaluation of the Italian Education System, where she was previously National Project Manager of the OECD PISA. Also, currently, she coordinates the EDU, an international network of experts in pedagogy and educational science of the NGO of the New Humanity. Now, we have the pleasure to have your views and your insights in regard to our this afternoon roundtable. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good afternoon to everyone. Je vais parler en français. Donc bonjour à toutes et à tous. Alors, le titre de cette contribution à cette table ronde est « Quelle éducation pour promouvoir la paix ?» Donc c'est un titre ambitieux, mais on va le voir à travers l'expérience des deux écoles qui nous disent que la paix est le fruit d'une éducation à vivre ensemble entre différentes religions et cultures, en se rencontrant à travers le dialogue de la vie. Alors, comment et avec quels résultats ces écoles ont opéré? La première école dont on va parler, c'est une école qui se trouve au Pakistan et qui s'appelle Mission School d'Alwal. Et elle va de la maternelle à la 8e année. Alors, ces deux écoles, j'ai oublié de dire, sont en partenariat avec New Humanity. Cette école a été fondée, dirigée par des chrétiens, mais la majorité des élèves sont musulmans. Donc 580 sur 600 sont musulmans, 20 chrétiens. Et entre les enseignants, 31, 14 sont chrétiens, 17 sont musulmans. Donc dans cette école, le dialogue interreligieux est vraiment fait partie intégrante de la vie de l'école. Il passe par des choses très concrètes. Alors la première, c'est la connaissance. On explique à tous la signification de fêtes religieuses de l'une et de l'autre religion. Après, il y a l'acceptation mutuelle avec la capacité de se mettre à la place de l'autre. Par exemple, au Ramadan, même les élèves chrétiens renoncent à leur goûter. Et après, il y a un partage des valeurs qui sous-entendent les fêtes. Et par exemple, le partage de la dimension du don qui est au cœur du Noël, a fait que les élèves ont eu l'idée de porter des cadeaux tirés de leurs jouets, tirés de leurs vêtements, pour des enfants qui ont plus besoin. Et après, il y a même des partages de moments de prière, et notamment une prière pour la paix, exprimée dans des termes universels, qui est dite tous les jours à 11 heures, et chaque jour, cette prière est menée et animée par une classe différente. Alors, mais pour aller plus en profondeur, à voir ce comment, à la base de tout ça, il y a une grande attention à la relation. Alors, la relation, prendre soin des relations, en vivant la règle d'or dont on a parlé, plusieurs personnes ont parlé ce matin, et cette règle d'or qui, pour l'aider à vivre, a été déclinée en 6 maximes. Et ces maximes, ces points, ont été prises de points de l'art d'aimer de Chiara Lubick, fondatrice du mouvement de Focolari. Et ces maximes aident à aimer tout le monde, chacun, mais tout le monde, en faisant le premier pas et en visant à une relation réciproque. Alors, non, je vais en arrière. Donc, voilà. Et donc, cette règle, ces maximes ont été écrits sur un dé, et le dé est lancé dans cette école une fois par semaine. Et après, pendant la semaine, tout le monde, élèves et professeurs, vivent la maxime qui est sortie sur la face en haut. Et au bout d'une semaine, ils se retrouvent et ils partagent les expériences qu'ils ont faites. Et à travers cet outil, ce dé, il y a une pédagogie. Il y a la pédagogie de porter l'attention sur nos actions en faisant attention qu'elles soient alignées avec les valeurs qu'on porte, dans la maxime qu'on veut vivre. Et il y a la réflexion sur les fruits de nos expériences, et il y a l'idée de partager ces expériences à travers, tout simplement, en se les donnant, en se les racontant, ce qui porte même la personne qui les a vécues à les comprendre mieux. Voilà, donc cette pédagogie et des très nombreuses versions de ce dé ont été faites. Là, on voit le dé de la paix qui a été développé par Living Peace, qui est un programme d'éducation à la paix qui fait partie de New Humanity. Mais il y a le dé de le sport pour vivre cette attention dans le sport. Il y a le dé de la terre pour vivre l'écologie avec l'attention justement à notre planète. Il y a le dé des psychologues, il y a le dé des entreprises, et il y a aussi un dé du dialogue interreligieux qu'on verra à la fin. Alors, quels sont les résultats? Les résultats, en premier lieu, sont un climat positif dans l'école. Et nous savons par la recherche combien un climat positif, un climat relationnel positif, a un impact sur les résultats. Et ça, c'est le cas, effectivement. Les résultats de cette école sont positifs, et non seulement les résultats académiques, mais aussi les résultats sur le plan socio-émotionnel. Donc, les enfants, par exemple, apprennent à créer un climat accueillant et sont eux-mêmes ceux qui aident les nouveaux élèves qui arrivent à entrer dans cette dimension d'attention à l'autre et de respect. Premier point. Deuxième point, il y a un changement de mentalité. Un changement de mentalité des élèves, mais aussi des familles, parce que les parents remarquent qu'il y a des changements dans leurs enfants, dans le comportement, dans les attitudes, et donc vont questionner l'école. Mais qu'est-ce que vous avez fait? Et donc, ils sont présentés avec cette attention à la relation, le D de la paix, et elles aussi rentrent dans cette dynamique et sont impliquées dans la vie de l'école. Après, il y a le fait que les enseignants, les familles et les élèves forment une communauté. Et après, il y a une reconnaissance par la société extérieure. Donc les enseignants sont respectés dans la ville, les nouveaux arrivants demandent s'ils peuvent inscrire leurs enfants dans cette école, etc. Beaucoup de petites expériences. Et après, il y a aussi un impact durable, c'est-à-dire les élèves qui reviennent après des années dans cette école disent que ce que leur est resté, c'est vraiment cette attention à la relation. Et comment ça a été remarqué même là où ils sont allés vivre, dans leur lieu de travail. Voilà, j'ai l'impression que les slides, ce n'est pas la dernière version, mais ce n'est pas grave. Ce dialogue interreligieux, ce dialogue de la vie, contribue à développer la compétence globale, c'est-à-dire cette chose dont on parle depuis des décennies, et qui est à la base du cible 4.7 des objectifs de développement durable, qui dit que nous avons vraiment besoin d'apprendre à vivre en paix. Hein. Et cette compétence globale a été déclinée en 4 compétences, en 4 capacités, récemment par l'OCDE. Et cette définition a été acceptée par 79 pays. Les pays qui participent à PISA, cette enquête internationale sur les acquis des élèves. Et alors, quelles sont ces 4 dimensions? Il y a la connaissance des réalités interculturelles, il y a la capacité de comprendre et apprécier le point de vue de l'autre, se mettre à la place de l'autre, il y a la capacité d'interagir avec respect, et il y a la capacité d'agir de manière responsable pour le bien-être de tous. Donc voilà, on voit que ces dimensions qui font partie de cette compétence globale qui est tellement importante sont intégrées dans la vie de cette école. L'autre école est l'école maternelle Rayon de Soleil en Slovénie. Elle a été fondée il y a 20 ans par des chrétiens. Il y a 110 élèves. 107 sont chrétiennes et 3 sont musulmans. Et dans l'équipe, les membres du personnel, seulement 2 sont musulmans. Donc ici, les proportions sont inversées par rapport à l'école précédente. Mais même cette école a senti le besoin de faire une démarche d'ouverture sur le monde et de dialogue interreligieux. Et donc, comment ils ont entamé cette démarche qui a vraiment est arrivée à une connaissance profonde de l'autre. Alors, tout d'abord, des choses très concrètes. Manger ensemble en partageant des plats traditionnels des différentes cultures. Partir ensemble en voyage ou en vacances. Célébrer les fêtes religieuses de l'autre. S'inviter à dîner adaptant sa propre cuisine à la culture et à la religion de l'autre, passer du temps ensemble et discuter des questions de plus en plus personnelles. À la fin, vraiment, ils ont parlé des choses très personnelles, divisées en groupes de femmes, en groupes d'un côté les femmes, d'un côté les hommes, en parlant des choses qu'ils n'avaient même pas partagées dans leur propre communauté. Alors, tout cela construit des relations, élimine la distance et génère de la confiance. Alors, mais en plus de cela, cette école a voulu faire une réflexion sur le parcours de dialogue qu'ils avaient fait. Ils ont vu que dans ce parcours de dialogue interreligieux, il y avait 6 étapes. La première étape est celle où il n'y a pas de dialogue. Il y a des tensions, il y a des conflits. Dans une deuxième étape, il n'y a pas de conflit ouvert, mais l'autre est ignoré. Chacun vit replié sur son propre groupe. Dans une troisième étape, il y a tolérance, mais pas de véritable rencontre. Je sais que tu es là, je te tolère, nous pouvons vivre proches, à côté, mais il y a encore des malentendus et nous ne nous apprécions pas vraiment. Dans une quatrième étape, il y a une rencontre partielle. Nous nous rencontrons, mais subsistent des tabous. Beaucoup de choses ne sont pas abordées pour éviter des frictions. Après, il y a une cinquième étape où la rencontre est complète, les préjugés sont dépassés, mais on se rencontre autour d'un événement concret. On fait une fête ensemble, on organise une exposition, donc on est dans le domaine du faire ensemble. Et puis, il y a une sixième étape où il y a une vraie communion des vies. Et là, justement, je voudrais vous dire avec leurs mots, qu'est-ce qu'ils ont compris dans cette sixième étape qu'ils ont vécue. Dans cette sixième étape, on décide intentionnellement d'entrer dans un processus dans lequel on se met en jeu et on accepte d'être changé. C'est quelque chose que ce matin a été dit. Le vrai dialogue veut dire accepter d'être changé par l'autre. On se rend compte que nous pouvons être de meilleures personnes si nous sommes ensemble. Je laisse tomber l'idée d'être complet à moi-même, dans mon groupe, dans ma culture, et je laisse venir l'idée que dans la relation avec l'autre, qui est différent de moi, je grandis. Et donc, dans cette perspective, le dialogue interreligieux devient un acte de confiance dans la relation et implique de prendre le risque d'être blessé, de s'ouvrir à la vulnérabilité et donc à la créativité. Donc, quelque chose de nouveau peut naître. Alors, là, concluding thoughts. Quelles sont les conclusions? C'est que c'est très intéressant, là il n'y a pas les slides, mais il y a eu une enquête internationale sur la compétence globale qui a été menée en 2018, à laquelle ont participé 27 pays. Et dans cette enquête, on a vu que quand on parle d'éducation interculturelle, dans 90% des cas, on parle de passage d'informations, des notions. Et seulement dans 30% des cas, on se réfère à des expériences de vie dans lesquelles les élèves rencontrent et expérimentent la culture de l'autre. Et c'est ces expériences-là qui vraiment mettent la base pour la capacité de vivre en paix, pour un dialogue fructueux. Une autre recherche les résultats ont été publiés la semaine dernière, jeudi, sur les compétences socio-émotionnelles, a montré que les élèves des 10 et des 15 ans qui déclarent avoir de meilleures relations avec leurs enseignants font preuve de meilleures compétences et en particulier une plus grande ouverture d'esprit. Donc les relations positives avec les enseignants sont à la base d'une plus grande ouverture d'esprit. Autre résultat, des relations fortes entre pairs sont corrélées avec des meilleures compétences sociales et une plus grande confiance dans les autres. Donc on voit que les expériences vécues dans les écoles, la façon dans laquelle le dialogue interreligieux est vécu dans ces écoles, met vraiment la base pour des compétences fondamentales dont on a besoin pour vivre ensemble. Et dans les recommandations qui ont été données pour développer ces compétences socio-émotionnelles, il y a, et ça résonne beaucoup avec ce qu'a dit le professeur Weber avant moi, donc créer des structures qui favorisent l'apprentissage social et émotionnel. Les écoles devraient créer ces structures. Aligner pratiques et valeurs. Offrir des expériences d'apprentissage holistiques. Construire le sens de la communauté dans les écoles et promouvoir les relations pour favoriser les compétences. Promouvoir les relations pour favoriser les compétences. Donc on voit comment c'est important de mettre au centre la relation, la qualité de la relation basée sur cette règle d'or. Alors, dans l'expérience de ces écoles, nous avons vu qu'il y a un pouvoir de transformation du dialogue interreligieux qui a un impact profond et durable sur les individus et sur la communauté. Et cette expérience du dialogue permet de réaliser ce que le secrétaire général des Nations Unies, Antonio Guterres, a souhaité lors de la cérémonie de la lampe de la paix en 2021. Il a dit « La tolérance ne suffit pas. Nous devons apprendre à nous respecter et à nous aimer les uns les autres et construire des ponts entre les principales religions du monde est l'un des projets les plus importants de notre époque. » Et nous voyons que ces écoles-là, ils font ça, ils construisent exactement ce pont. Et je voulais conclure avec une diapo, je vous la laisse imaginer, où il y a le D, la version interreligieuse du D de la paix, où ce D a été développé au Mexique par les représentants de 5 grandes religions, donc l'islam, le judaïsme, le bouddhisme, le christianisme et, je ne me rappelle plus le 5e, et l'hindouisme. Et chaque représentant a proposé une phrase à écrire sur une face du dé, une phrase qui représente le cœur de sa tradition religieuse. Après, chacun est parti avec son dé sous le bras et ils se sont revus au bout d'un mois et chacun a raconté les expériences qu'il avait vécues en vivant les maximes, les phrases des autres religions. Et ça a été un moment où on expérimente la communion, justement grâce à la diversité, là où il y a un dialogue ouvert. Voilà, et c'est ça que ces écoles proposent. Et ce matin, à la fin de la table ronde, Monsieur Jalali a dit qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire en dehors de cette salle. Voilà, ces écoles nous disent quelque chose, comme les expériences de Baraza avant ou de Pax Christi. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Siniscalco, pour votre présentation. Oh, oui. Et bien évidemment, le respect mutuel là aussi, c'est un des, on peut dire, piliers du dialogue interreligieux et interculturel. Et encore une fois, via différents programmes que l'UNESCO actuellement réalise, la question de respect mutuel, et non seulement respect, mais aussi apprendre mutuellement l'un l'autre, fait partie de nos activités. Et les 2 exemples que vous avez montrés, les 2 écoles, au Pakistan et aussi en Slovaquie, ça nous permettra aussi de voir concrètement comment on peut créer cette situation, cette circonstance pour le dialogue et pour le respect parmi les enfants. Donc, Je vous remercie au nom de l'UNESCO et on aimerait avoir plus d'informations concernant vos activités. Well, allow me now to turn to our fourth speaker of this panel discussion, Mr. Yoshihiro Tomatsu, executive member of the WFBY and chair of the World Conference of Religions for Peace in Japan. Mr. Tamatsu graduated from the Taishu Buddhist University School, and after taking Buddhist priesthood, studied at Harvard Divinity School in the United States and within the field of the theological studies in applied theology, bioethics, and engaged Buddhism. He was a professor at the International University of Medicine and Welfare, teaching at Medical School for Bioethics and Technology. Moreover, he is the former chair of Japan Buddhist Federation, Japanese Association of Religious Organizations. And presently, he is the chief priest of the Shinkoin Temple, chair of the Religions for Peace Japan, and executive committee for the World Fellowship of Buddhist. He is also working for religious affairs as a government committee member. Now we have the pleasure to hear from Mr. Tomatsu in a very interesting subject, multi-religious approaches to the vital issues such as the ethics of artificial intelligence. One of the most important speaks.
I'm going to cut to the first two paragraphs to make it short.
Sure.
I was late.
Okay, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Frankly speaking, me and you, all of us, little bit looks tired, right? So I try to my speech shorter. And would you ask? I asked the translator. I started from a third paragraph. I cut the two paragraphs because that two paragraph is just mentioned about the present situation, right? Now it's a time of a great change, or the AI is a most advanced technology for our everyday life, or something like that, because everybody know about that. So now I'm going to go to the main issues. On this theme means like this multi-religious approach to vital issues such as the ethics of artificial intelligence towards united human value. So is this the, please start PowerPoint? Which one?
May I ask the help of our technicians?
How? Which direction I should?
Should use this one?
Okay. Oh, no.
The PowerPoint has not started yet. Maybe our technician can start the PowerPoint.
Okay, okay. Anyway, okay. On this theme, I would like to report on the project on AI ethics through interface dialogue conducted this year by Religions Peace for Japan, of which I am a chair. This year in July, Religions for Peace Japan, together with the Pontifical Academy for Life, the Abu Dhabi Peace Forum, and the Chief Rabbinical Committee in Israel, organized an international conference called AI Ethics for Peace, World Religions Committed to the Roma Call in Hiroshima. The conference was attended by 50 religious leaders from all over the world, business leaders such as President of Microsoft and also the Cisco and IBM, and also by members of the Japanese government. The purpose of the conference was to further broaden the support for Pope Francis' initiative. Okay. The Roma Call for AI ethics, while the new technology of artificial intelligence has greatly benefited human life through its convenience and efficiency, it also has a negative impact that may lead to the loss of humanities. For example, there have been events where AI has contributed to racism and hate speech. The IMF also warns of a widening economic gap between those who utilize AI and those who are not. Furthermore, AI is utilized in weapons to commit cruel and inhumane acts. In response to this situation, the conference pledged that religious leaders and faith communities would like the initiative to establish ethical development in algorithm. This is called algorithmics for the protection of human dignity in the age of AI and for the sustainable development of humanity and the earth. It called on the international community to place the common good of humanity at the core of the development and operation of AI, the most advanced technology available, to ensure that no one is discriminated against and to preserve a sound global society for the future. Specifically, it calls for the following 6 principles. Yes. In the development and operation, AI, 1, transparency, 2, inclusiveness, 3, responsibility, 4, fairness, 5, reliability, and 6, security and privacy. I would like to a little bit explain about this is just at the front of the building at the time of atomic bomb. And this is this very particular meeting, because, for example, in Japan, sometimes we get together with government people or the CEO of the big company, but after they finish speech, as soon as possible, they left. But this time, there's Brad Smith, the CEO of the Microsoft, and also like the Cisco and the vice president of IMF. They stayed from the beginning to the last, and they participated all the conference. They discussed together, talked together to everybody. That is a very, very rare. I'm really impressed. And but this Japanese minister, he just go back after his speech. But anyway, this is also the president of the WFBY, His Excellency Parop was participated as a representative of the Buddhist community, because this is not by my request, but by Pontifical Councils, Vatican's, like a request. Please call the Parop to this conference. That is essential, because of WFBY is covered all over the world. So he signed. That means, regardless of the country, the center of the WFBY, we have a duty to follow this call. And also, because we had this in Hiroshima, so we made, besides Roma call, that Hiroshima appeal, and AI be used only for the welfare of humanity, and not for the destruction and injury of life, because that is behind we had 2 atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And Anyway, in addition, 79 years ago, from the very place where the atomic bomb was dropped, the Hiroshima Appeal was adopted. It calls for an immediate end to all armed conflicts, the prohibition and abolition of all weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear weapons, and the use of AI only for the welfare of humanity and not for the destruction and injury of life. After the conference, these recommendations were handed directly to then former Prime Minister Fumio Kishida of Japan by Japanese religious leaders. Today, the issue of AI ethics has become a pressing issue at the political level as well. At the G7 Hiroshima summit last year, the Japanese government launched the Hiroshima AI process to lead the creation of international AI rules. Therefore, in this meeting with the Prime Minister, the strengthening of cooperation and solidarity between politics and religions on this issue was confirmed. Finally, I would like to consider what is united human value by religion, the theme of this session. I believe that it is very teaching of faith common to many of the world religions, which has been passed down through history. It is often referred to as the golden rule. Almost everybody talk about this. The Quran, for example, says, whoever saves a life, it will be as if they saved all of humanity. The New Testament commands, so whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. In addition, the Dhammapada, a collection of sayings of the Buddha, states, hatred is never appeased by hatred in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. In many, like the World Peace Prayers Conference, always everybody cited these words. But how it works? So today I would like to introduce some historical facts. Japan was saved by this word. And just after World War II, in 1951, San Francisco Peace Treaties. I'm going to show. This is a speech by the Sri Lankan Finance Minister, J.R. Jawaharlal Nehru. It's very difficult to pronounce, I'm sorry. But anyway, speech at the conference for the conclusion and the signature of the Treaty of Peace with Japan, San Francisco, USA, 6 September 1951. This is actually his speech. But before that, he mentioned, he renounced its claim for compensation against Japan. Because, of course, in international law, all countries who are damaged by Japanese military, they have a right. And Japan has to compensate. But he renounced. And he mentioned, we do not intend to do so, for we believe in the words of the great teacher whose message has ennobled the lives of countless millions in Asia, that hatred ceased not by hatred, but by love. It is a message of the Buddha, the great teacher, the founder of the Buddhism, which spread a wave of humanism through South Asia, Burma, Laos, Cambodia, Siam, Indonesia, and Ceylon, and also northwards through the Himalayas, into Tibet, China, and finally Japan, which bound us together for hundreds of years with a common culture and heritage. This common culture still exists, as I found on my way visit to Japan last week, that is 1951. At that time, Japan didn't have anything, all lost. Industry, house, city, all lost. And he visited Japan, and he met leader of the Japan ministers of state, as well as private citizens from their priests in the temple. I gathered the impression that the common people of Japan are still influenced by the shadow of that great teacher of peace and wish to follow it. We must give them that opportunity. Actually, because of that, before his speech, the conference is going on. Some country strongly insisted Japan should be separated into two, same like Germany. But after this, the speech, this is a New York Times reported. This is his speech. Noted Sri Lanka Finance Minister J.R. Jayawardena's speech, the voice of free Asia, eloquent, melancholy, and still strong with the tilt of an Oxford accent, dominated the Japanese Peace Treaties Conference today, because according to the report, all people give a standing ovation to him. So this is based on the Buddhist teachings and canon. And also the WFBY adopted a resolution which supports 3 editions of Buddhist sacred canons from China and Korea preserved at Zojoji, Japan for MOW, Memory of the World, in UNESCO. And these canons are Buddhist basic texts for realizing peace spiritually and socially. The 3 editions of Buddhist sacred canon stored at Zojoji Temple in Tokyo as a product of 3 separate endeavors to print complete collections of these scriptures in China and Korea in the 12th century and 13th century, sought out by the political leaders of Japan in the early 17th century. Because of their value, they were donated to Zojoji at that time. What has been achieved as a unique preservation of 12,000 volumes of these religious materials in near perfect condition, really perfect condition, despite massive damage to Tokyo by earthquakes, fires, and wars, air bombing. In the modern period, Japan has printed 2 critical editions of Mahayana Buddhist canon by relying on this very material. As the first scholarly publication of Chinese language Buddhist canon using movable type, they have enabled widespread access to this literature throughout East Asia, supporting the preservation of Buddhism itself. Recently, this material has been digitalized, positioning it as a globally significant part of spiritual and cultural history for peace. In the context of WFBY and religion for peace, it is the belief that as fundamentally relational, our well-being is intrinsically shared and that all people exist in an interconnected life, which is shared by the religious people of the world. Because of the uncertain situation ahead, we must further pass onto today's world the traditional wisdom based on religions, love for humanities, as well as the knowledge gained from these practical activities of interreligious dialogue. We are indeed facing many problems now. However, I would like to present to our children a culture of peace and nonviolence, and a world in which no one is left behind. Since I am honored to have this opportunity to make a speech, I pledge my own devotion as an executive member of the WFBY and a chair of Religion for Peace in Japan to this goal once again. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tomatsu, for your speech. And indeed, you raised a very important issue that nowadays, as you may have heard, artificial intelligence has become one of the most important activities within UNESCO different sectors, and especially within the sector that I am work for, the social and human sciences sector, as we have released now since almost 3 years, the UNESCO recommendation on ethics of the artificial intelligence. If, in case you haven't checked this document, I would suggest that you review this document, which is now becoming one of the worldwide references within the field of the artificial intelligence. And it's very, let's say, innovative approach toward the interreligious dialogue if we want to consider the artificial intelligence. The issue of the hate speech that you raised is really, that's an issue that my colleagues, especially within different sectors of UNESCO, in sector of education, in sector of communication and information, and indeed within the social and human sciences sector, we are dealing with this issue. And again, we count on your contribution to this issue as well. I thank you so much. And now our last speaker of this afternoon panel discussion is Mr. Fabio Petito, Professor of Religion and International Affairs in the Department of International Relations at the University of Sussex, where he also leads the Religion and Foreign Policy Initiative. He is also head of the ISPI program on religious and international relations, supported by the Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, and also he has been a member of the OSCE /ODIHR panel of the experts on the freedom of religion and belief. You have the floor, and we are going to listen to Mr. Petito about interreligious engagement as a seed of hope in our troubled times. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to express my gratitude to the permanent delegation of the Kingdom of Thailand, to the UNESCO and the World Fellowship of Buddhists for this invitation. My approach will be more from the perspective of international politics and why this matters very much. That's my argument, to the broader picture. We live at the conjunction of two interlocking major crises. First, a planetary, ecological, and economic crisis, exemplified by the fact that with 5 years to go to achieve the 2030 UN Sustainable Development Goals, no country is on track to do so. The SDGs have become a sort of empty acronym, its central promise of leaving no one behind, an unfulfilled one in face of the enormous existential challenges of poverty, discrimination, environmental degradation, and access to resources. Secondly, a geopolitical crisis with wars that are, alas, proliferating, creating atrocity and devastation, and putting in danger what is left of the multilateral system of cooperation and humanitarian international law that was, with all its limits, an important positive achievement built on the tragedies of World War II and the Holocaust. And unfortunately, today, too often, religion seems to be at the center of this global scenario of crisis. Religious terrorism, religious persecutions, sectarian violence, religious nationalism, and even recently the return of the language of holy wars in Ukraine and the Israelo-Palestinian conflict. Religion is increasingly seen as part of the problem, at the heart of collective identity crisis, concern about social cohesion, as well as scenarios of insecurity and discrimination, being reinforced by the politician tendency to use religion as an identity marker, which defines territories as belonging to certain groups and not others. Now, all this is making it more difficult to live together in diversity and peace. One might say that the global political crisis in the 21st century is a crisis of disunity, and it also includes a global religious crisis of some kind. Now, against this sometimes gloomy background, however, there are seeds of hope for unity, and they can be seen to grow through the process of a new era of interreligious solidarity, which has been developing globally and locally in the 21st century. Although not as noisy and difficult to evaluate, there has been a remarkable rise in the efforts of religious leaders, community, and faith-based organizations to respond to political violence and tensions through interreligious dialogue and collaboration. An interesting and powerful example of this new trend has been the historical document on human fraternity, co-signed now 5 years ago by Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayeb in Abu Dhabi. With this document, the two religious leaders sent a powerful message in favor of political inclusion and against the discrimination of minorities, especially in countries where Islam or Christianity represent the majority religion. The argument goes as follows: if we are all children of the same God, we are all brothers and sisters, then we cannot treat each other as slaves. We all need recognition and respect, including the right to participate in public life as citizens with full rights, freedoms, and responsibilities. Against the terrible political crisis and conflict in the Middle East that had too often been shaped by the narrative of the civilizational clash, this unprecedented interreligious initiative has scattered seeds of hope for unity in the Euro-Mediterranean world and opened up a new era of interreligious dynamics that, my argument is, policymakers need to take seriously and engage with. This is why in a recent report I have put forward the idea of interreligious engagement as a new policy framework that recognizes and amplifies these novel interreligious dynamics. By interreligious engagement, I refer to the interreligious policy-oriented interaction between government and international organizations on the one hand, and religious and interreligious actors, groups, coalitions, platforms, and activities on the other. Interreligious engagement is a new policy approach that amplifies this novel interreligious dynamic through innovative secular religious partnership aimed at achieving more inclusive and peaceful society. As you were remembering, Chair, the UNESCO motto says, "Since war begins in the minds of men and women, it is in the minds of men and women that peace must be built." And UNESCO uses education and culture to foster mutual understanding and strengthen the intellectual and moral solidarity of humankind and bring out the best in our shared humanity. I have to say it becomes therefore almost unexplainable to me that in a world that has finally recognized its own secular blind spot, fruit of the specific history of the 20th century, we're also the most staunch defender of public reasoning, like the philosopher of the Enlightenment values Jürgen Habermas, who has called for new post-secular dialogue among secular and religious authorities and ideas, how in this context the organization of the UN family, that more than all the others has focused on the premises, the spirit of peace, how is it that it doesn't have today a stream of work and programming that look at the power of interreligious dialogue and collaboration as crucial vector for peace and building sustainable and inclusive society? I would go as far as arguing, perhaps provocatively, that this religious narrative of interreligious solidarity and human fraternity that we are seeing spreading all over the world are today carrying global hopes for unity and universalism more than any other secular political discourse and narrative. Of course, as you have shown very well in the presentations, interreligious dialogue can include a variety of forms of interaction, ranging from theological exchanges to day-to-day socializing and common social action by different religious individuals. Following the well-known categorization, it can be a dialogue of life, as you have argued, a dialogue of action, a dialogue of religious experience, a dialogue of theological exchange. But interreligious dialogue as a sustained global practice is a relatively new phenomenon and has only significantly deepened over the last 2 decades. The most significant trend of this growth has seen interreligious dialogue moving steadily from theology to practical collaboration. Among the forms of interreligious dialogue and collaboration which carry the most potential in terms of building peaceful and inclusive societies are those that recognize and respect the differences of the participants, way beyond the platitude of a vague minimal common denominator, and strive to involve difficult religious actors beyond the usual suspects. For example, religious actors that have been involved in the interfaith movements for decades. It is also interesting to note that interreligious dialogue and collaboration represent arguably one of the most dynamic and promising areas of active citizen participation and new social political leadership, especially among young people and women, against the background of a contemporary scenario of democratic crisis marked by disengagement, disenchantment, and a rejection of public responsibility and the search for the common good. Now, today, even policymakers around the world increasingly recognize that interreligious dialogue and collaboration can be part of the solution and a strategic resource for peace building, the strengthening of human rights, and the advancement of sustainable development. There is an enormous unexplored repository of cultural, religious resources and argument from within and across religious tradition with which to build a more peaceful, just, and environmentally sustainable world and combat discrimination. In fact, in the international policy community, religious engagement is emerging as one of the most promising fields of strategic and creative thinking in which government and international organizations can work collaboratively in partnership with religious and faith-based organizations to achieve common policy goals. This policy recognition has led to the creation of new roles and offices in Ministry of Foreign Affairs of countries including the US, France, the United Kingdom, Canada, Hungary, Italy, and the Czech Republic. The last 2 have created special envoys which specifically have the role to promote interreligious dialogue and freedom of religion and belief. And there have been also international initiatives such as the United Nations-led FEDS process, which has produced a UN plan of action for religious leaders to prevent incitement to violence, and a global platform like the International Partnership on Religion and Sustainable Development, which is bringing together governments and international organizations and religious actors to harness the positive impact of religion in sustainable development and to promote, for example, peaceful and inclusive society. In general, there is a much more focused consideration of the role of religion in sustainable development And this focus has started to trickle down through the UN system in the acknowledgement that engaging religious leaders and community can promote sustainable development and more effective humanitarian assistance. Also, the European Union, as recognized in some recent policy document, and the Council of Europe was mentioned last year, has approved the Strasbourg Principle for Interreligious Dialogue to foster peace and human rights. Just a couple of weeks ago, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, its Office for Democracy and Human Rights, has published a report by its panel of experts on religious freedom on fostering dialogue and joint action across religious and belief boundaries as a strategy to combat discrimination based on religion and belief. And only a couple of months ago, in August, the G20 Interfaith Forum was meeting in Brazil under the motto of bringing faith and policy together to promote more peaceful and inclusive society. All this development highlights the potential positive impact of interreligious dialogue and collaboration for our growing, diverse, and plural society in all the stages of the peace-building process. It also appears to recognize that the post-secular insight that religions actually possess resources such forgiveness and reconciliation that government and international organizations do not, and that therefore, in situations of tensions and conflict, collaboration between the different religious communities involved is vital. This is not only about big discourses and ideas. I think the COVID-19 crisis has highlighted the significant potential of religious community and organizations to engage together in acts of solidarity that build community resilience and respond to the needs of vulnerable members of society locally, from food banks to mental health support, from tackling loneliness and intolerance to supporting older people, just to mention a few examples. Through these initiatives like this, religious actors reach out to the poor, the marginalized, the ignored, and the forgotten on the periphery of society, also ensuring that all citizens are equally able to participate in public discussion and decision-making. My argument is that we need to find ways to amplify these novel interreligious dynamics through innovative secular religious partnership aimed at achieving more inclusive and peaceful societies at multiple levels. This requires, one, to recognize this new era of interreligious activism of hope and unity, and we have heard examples of this reality today on this stage. Two, to think more of how government and international organizations like UNESCO, for example, should respond to it in order to amplify its positive social and political effect. Three, we need to remain open to learning and genuine interreligious and post-secular dialogue. We need to search for new secular interreligious partnership to stretch the political imagination and creating new practical innovation to respond to the global policy challenges. True, religion is politically ambivalent. On the one hand, it can promote political violence, conflict, but on the other, it can promote peace building, reconciliation, and non-violent civic engagement. I'm assuming here, in the provocative words of one of my colleagues, that the non-violent warrior for peace would be more influential in the long run than the religious extremist. The transition from an understanding of the political role and strengths of religion in global affairs as primarily that of a security problem to an understanding of a more comprehensive engagement with religious community on broader human development goals is not easy, but it carries the promise of a new realistic politics of hope for peace and unity. Let me conclude by double quoting, I'm going generous, to some extent in a surprising way, the French president, Emmanuel Macron, in his two recent speeches at the International Meeting of Prayers for Peace organized by the community of Sant'Egidio last year in Rome and this year in Paris. Macron argued that against today's multiple social political crises, all religions have an even stronger role to play in what he called the must of resistance, le devoir de la résistance, against any form of politics which doesn't respect the dignity of every human being, as well as in fostering a message of universalism which is not hegemonic and so much needed in our increasingly fragmented world. And just a few weeks ago in Paris, Macron endorsed the conference title, Imaginez la paix, on the ground that we need a new prophetic alternative imagination for a vision of peace and a different kind of politics. A striking but courageous and visionary call from the institutional representative of laïcité for the new forms of innovative religious secular partnership for the common good of Europe and all the world. Is there a better global laboratory of ideas for this sort of common and vital objective, working together for peace, than UNESCO? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Petito, for a very, let's say, inspiring hope that let's keep trust, let's hope that, as you mentioned, religions will bring us further together, will be the, let's say, vectors of dialogue and also rapprochement between different people, between different cultures, rather than somehow diverging between the different religions. We do hope on this, and we hope that you also contribute to this mandate of UNESCO for dialogue and also cultivating the culture of peace. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this roundtable, but we have still 10 minutes almost that we may use in case there are questions or comments. So I would now, yes, please, if you can give the floor to His Excellency, former Ambassador of Islamic Republic of Iran, Ambassador Jalali. You have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shabang, and I enjoyed all talks. Let me bring a question which may open the field for another conference in the future. But I think all of the participants can react to that, because I have deep questions, as I mentioned in my intervention this morning briefly. But here I will translate what I said in the morning in accordance with the title of this panel. Religion, a source of strength. A source of strength or a source of power? The problem will happen when, during the history, people use religion as a source of power, institutionalize that as a language of power. And you know that at least from 16th century, which philosophy governs the realm of power? Machiavelli. And that governs all political philosophers. You know that. This is what we see in the world. If we translate religion somehow to become a source of power, then it will shift to the danger which was mentioned by some participant, including Professor, the last speaker. Here, if I use the title of the last speaker, it says, New Secular Religious Partnership. If you are not secular, you cannot have any kind of dialogue. By secular, I don't mean anti-religion. I mean meta concept, which governs all religions. I am a Muslim. It is not the time here. Of course, I have some studies in Christianity and others, Judaism. There is in the holy books, there is a concept, meta concept, above religion, and that is justice. Justice is not a divine concept. Justice is a secular understanding of human being, and it is very explicitly, clearly said that all prophets came here to help us for justice. Justice is not something that is respected because prophets recommended that. No, prophets can be respected if their teaching come to justice. Justice is a secular understanding which governs, and even any kind of teaching, according to Holy Book, including the Quran that I know, if the teachings of any prophet is not translated into justice, then there is no respect for that teaching in accordance to the Holy Book. Therefore, I want to say that when you say secular religious partnership, it is a good term. It's the first time I saw here. But it is better to give some definition for that. What do you mean? Because by secularity, we can think of something above religion, which is a human-made concept, and that is justice. My final point, I have a lot, but I don't want to make a speech. But then you said that theological dialogue. One of the speakers said, I think theological dialogue is impossible. Theology carries dogmas. In dogmas, you cannot have dialogue. You can have dialogue when you look at religion as a way of life, as a culture. And culture, finally, is a man-made product. May be impressed by divine revelation, but finally, culture is a man-made product. And in the end, may I say that when we say inter-religion dialogue of religions or dialogue of cultures, we have nothing called religion walking here, this religion, that religion, they sit down together. No, we have people. When we call dialogue of civilized or culture, we don't have something called culture and walking or come and sit on this table. Finally, we have people. We have people who represent a religion yes. or a culture. And these people, through the history, had two kinds of dialogue. First, descriptive, and second, we are talking now, as you said, Mr. Professor, the imperative. There has been a natural dialogue among all religions during the history. We can describe it. You can see in the mystical, in Rumi, in Hafez, in Goethe, in St. Augustine, in St. Thomas Aquinas, in Avicenna, in all. So there has been, we have the example of Toledo in Spain. We have the example of many other places. But now we are talking about the imperative, mean that we interfere. I'm sorry about the length of my
No, it was a question.
But
I don't know.
I asked people, because that was very important topic, distinguished panelists, to at least to give an explanation on what I said, if it is relevant for a future conference.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. You want to take?
No, thank you. Thank you very much for your question. I will say this. We don't live in the 20th century anymore. I'm sorry to be, but the 20th century has been an extremely secular century with very secular ideologies dominating the political and social lives. One of these, the basic idea was that religion will disappear. This was the secularization thesis, was the basis of most of ideas. And when it did not disappear, the last defense of many secular ideology was, okay, it's reappearing and it's the usual history. It's all about violence, terrorism, disorder, and disability. I think what I was trying to suggest is that we are not seeing the other part of the stories, because we still have some secular blind spot. I have to say very strong in some institutions. The UN is one of these. But, it is changing. There is a huge amount of new forms of interreligious collaboration, dialogues, interactions, that is bringing a lot of new energies. And if the common aim of humanity is to build peace, an inclusive, sustainable society, okay? The point is, are these forces positive forces with which government and international organizations need to partner and collaborate in the same way that in the Sustainable Development Goals it is said that government need to collaborate with civil society and business, or not? Well, actually, I tell you, in most of the world, 90% of the people belongs more to religions than to civil society. So this really, what Jürgen Habermas says, we need to move away from the secular paradigm and framework that shaped our way of thinking, and we need to open up to what he calls a post-secular sensibility. Now that requires time. We are rooted in our own ideas and things, but I think the challenges in front of us are huge. And we need all to work together with the people of religions across religious boundaries to work for that universal justice that you rightly said is something that indeed goes across religious and belief tradition. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know whether any other... You want to add something? Yes. Very briefly, because we want to give probably one last question before we conclude.
Oui, c'était par rapport à votre terme de justice. Je proposerais pour la plus future conférence religion, dignité et justice. Je trouve que le terme de dignité humaine est quand même plus... Il y a la justice dans la dignité humaine, mais je trouve que ça remet l'humain au centre de tous ces débats-là. Et je trouve que c'est un terme intéressant dans cette recherche d'universalisme que vous proposez. Et par rapport à religion, source de force ou de pouvoir, je pense que tout dépend de... ça sert les intérêts de qui? Et je crois qu'il faut toujours rappeler que les religions servent les hommes avant de servir des intérêts politiques, économiques, idéologiques et toutes sortes d'autres intérêts. Voilà, merci.
Thank you so much. Do you want to add anything? Great. So we may have still one last question, because we have to respect our dear interpreters that they need to also stop their work. Is there any other question or comment, suggestion? Otherwise, indeed, we can conclude our panel discussion, and hopefully we will have good subjects for the future conference, indeed, regarding what we just discussed.
Hello, excuse me. There's another
Yes.
question here in the center.
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
Oui, je voudrais remercier tous les contributeurs qui sont passés depuis ce matin jusqu'à cet instant. Et j'attirais juste notre attention sur des choses que j'ai suivies tout à l'heure, qui sont très brèves. Par exemple, lorsque nous présentons les religions et que nous sommes dans un dialogue interculturel et interreligieux, je crois qu'il faut rester vigilant en présentant des religions du type les grandes religions. Je crois qu'il faut bannir ce genre de termes. Il ne faut pas hiérarchiser les religions en disant les grandes, les religions du livre aussi. Ce n'est pas nécessaire de le dire parce qu'en fait, la religion a précédé le livre. Le livre est arrivé après, c'est-à-dire qu'on a d'abord fait la religion et ensuite on l'a fixée par l'écrit. Donc, les religions du livre ou les grandes religions, nous devons être très vigilants dans les interlocutions, dans les échanges, parce qu'il y a des religions qui sont présentes aujourd'hui dans des textes que nous pouvons lire, mais à travers le monde, il y en a qui ne sont pas encore dans des textes, dont les interlocuteurs que nous avons en face sont vigilants de les prendre en compte sans toutefois les exclure à partir du livre ou grande. Merci.
Merci. Bien, c'est très pertinent et bien évidemment, il faut éviter de hiérarchiser excusez-moi, les religions et il faut considérer tous sur la même égalité. Bon, if you allow me now, we come to the end of this panel discussion. With your permission, I would like once again to thank the Royal Thai Embassy in France, also the permanent delegation of the Kingdom of Thailand, to UNESCO, as well as the World Fellowship of Buddhism. Also, the co-organizers of this afternoon session, the World Fellowship of the Buddhist Youth, the World Buddhist University, Regional Center and Associated Organization of the World Fellowship of Buddhism, Peace and Harmony Development Association of Master Chin, as well as Kung's Friend at UNESCO. With the help of all of these institutions and also in the entities, we had this afternoon session. And on behalf of UNESCO, I would like to thank you all for attending the whole day-long events since this morning. As you know, this event continues tomorrow as well. So we stop here. I thank all of our panelists, and I wish you a nice evening. Thank you so much for your attention.
And with that, once again, thank you so much, our esteemed panelists. And also, another thank you to all of us here today. Your presence here reinforced the importance of these collective conversations and understanding of peace. And with that, tomorrow, back here again in room 1 of the UNESCO Headquarter where the registration would start at 8. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you guys tomorrow.
Love's the root of life. Love's the core of wisdom. Life without love is a life forever falling in the endless night, drifting in a sea of pain. A love for the dawn that leads to one sunny spring. God is virtuous and kind. God is almighty, and you teach us true meaning of love. Being selfless, we offer to help all beings. You give us wisdom, and I am forever grateful. With sacred virtue, purity,